Welcome back, everybody, to a little bit of a Sunday film club. Yes, we moved it, my fault this time. But I hope everybody had a good round of golf this weekend to get in the mood for Jay's pick, the greatest game ever played. Of your first, this is your first random pick, isn't it? This was your first one?
Yes. Yeah,
it was. Yeah. Anyway, how are you two guys?
I'm good. I actually did get a round of golf in. I wish I could say it was a good one, but it was a round at the very least. So I'm on track for this movie.
Nice. It would have. I mean, you probably have the same weather that we've had here. Would have been a beautiful weekend for golf here if it were something that I ever did. It's very sunny, and the weather was it wasn't over oppressively hot, but it did make me think. If I didn't have two bad shoulders, I might want to pick up a club after watching this film.
Yeah, it's one of the things I like. I don't mind playing golf like that. I've played with some really good people, and like it's a bit embarrassing when people are that good. But I can't do it because of my knee anymore. Because you have that little tilt. It really annoys me. I tried to do it like that, and I've just got so I've kept my clubs for my son. Like, yes, let's just do that. So hopefully he doesn't sprout up over 6 foot.
Okay, the alarm's gonna go off already. It's not because Jay did one of those "I'm not born yet" and we have the air horn, but I think you and I need the old people whistle or something.
Yeah,
because I've already complained about my shoulder, and you complained about your knee.
There we go.
In the first 30 seconds of the podcast.
Well, we can always take the piss. What did you shoot then today? What did you finish in?
Oh, me? Oh, God, it was like a 95. It was not a great day. Not a great day.
More looking for the ball than hitting the ball, was it?
Yeah, it was a new course, a really, really nice course, but one I hadn't played yet, and just back, not to sound old myself, but back wasn't feeling quite right. So, one of those days. You got to blame it on everything other than yourself.
There's the siren again.
I should actually get a soundboard every time. It's like, oh,
well, I tend to blame absolutely everything I can blame that's not my fault when it comes to my golf game. So course condition, it could be the best course in the world, but a blade of grass might be too long and that messed up that shot. So, right. So it's always one of those things where I'm going to blame everything else before I blame myself. And then eventually I'll work my way back down to that.
Yeah, it was too hot, too cold.
Yeah, the ball was just a little too clean, needed a little more dirt on it. Didn't stop where I needed it to, all those kind of things.
Excellent. But yeah, so Jay, is this? No, I had to think. Is this our first Disney movie as well?
It's probably. I'm trying to think if there's anything maybe Disney was behind that just didn't
I
really
was gonna
seem
say
like it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm sure this is our first Disney.
Might be our first.
One of the few at the very least.
And one of the few as well, being Sandy said, directed by Bill Paxton.
Yes, which I didn't realize until we picked it for this film club.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, like I said, he was in Apollo 13. The guy from real Apollo 13. Was it? Oh, I forgot his name now.
Jim Lovell.
Jim. I said Jim Lovell died yesterday, the day before. So I'm guessing the will spilt out Apollo 13.
It would only be fitting and proper.
Yeah.
If it did.
Yeah. So yeah, I was But Jay, let's start with you. Why? Because you were like, I know it straight away. When you said it, you're like, no, I've got it.
Yeah. So this is one I watch frequently, at least like once a year. There's just something about this movie I love. The story, the setting, the story, the sport, all of it. It just resonates with me a ton. Obviously, there's a few kind of surface level reasons. One, it's based in Boston guy. Two, I love the game of golf, so it's always something that attracted me to the movie. But it's more than that. It's just such a great story of what I think, is the heart of America. Just an underdog story, opportunity for anyone. You just got to work to get it. Doesn't matter who you're up against. The person who works hardest, is at times, sometimes the most talented, but not always the case. It can be a bit of, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard type of thing. So just so much wrapped in it, just has always resonated with me. And I love it. I think it's a great movie. I watch it, like I said, once a year. Usually it's before anytime my friends and I are doing one of our big golf tournaments. This year, I actually watched it recently just because my wife had never, I want to say it was like maybe 2-3 months ago. My wife had never seen it and I was in the mood. So I was just like, oh, let's throw it on. And she loved it. So this will be the first year I actually watch it twice in a year. And I actually got a big golf tournament coming up in September. So you may get a three-peat. We'll see.
Nice. Now, it's based off a book, and the book, of course, the film says this is a true story.
Mm-hmm.
The book title is The Greatest Game Ever, and then it's more, isn't it? It's quite a big title, Sandy.
Oh gosh, it's The Greatest Game Ever Played, and I might get the names in the wrong order, and how Harry Vardon and Francis Ouimet changed the game of golf, or something to that
modern
effect.
game, changed the modern game or something like that.
I do take issue at these 5 words here. This is a true story. I would say it's missing the word based, maybe based loosely on a true story, because the film does take some liberties. I will try my best. I've even written it down on my yellow sheet of paper here, not to interrupt every 5 seconds and say that the book, I say this every time, that the book is different from the film. But I will say there's just the book covers both of their entire lifetimes. And with Vardon being 20 years older than Francis Ouimet, obviously it covers a lot of time. And of course, this film is really just covering the lead up to the 1913 US Open. So I will try very hard not to say, oh, the book's different. But at the end, when we're all done, I'll kind of sum up what the differences were. And I really hope it will encourage folks to read the book, because I was incredibly impressed with the writer and the writing. And for me, golf was not a subject I was interested in. And I'm very interested in it now. So, so it was a good read. But let's talk about the film first. I'll try not to interrupt.
Now, I'm gonna point out a flaw straight away with this movie. And Jay said it last time, because you said it's an Englishman an Englishman loses to an American.
Yes.
And it's on the Isle of Jersey. And why they called it England?
So this is something that never occurred to me, because I'm not the greatest with knowing everything about the UK and England.
Jersey's more near, right next to France. It's literally more near France.
I kind of figured that out this time around.
Yeah, it's Disney. And I was like, when it came out, I was like, what? And my next door neighbors when I grew up were from Guernsey, and you could never call them English. And I was like, I think they're called Jerseymen or Jersey Man or something like that. Like, you haven't got it's not like you.
Yeah, they even said it in the book and the film. We're Jerseymen. So
it'd be like calling somebody from Wales or oh, you're from England, aren't you?
Right.
It's completely different.
I kind of figured that out this time too.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I must say, it was quite funny. Because the opening bit, we get, of course, the young Harry, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's so like that, and their accents are. I don't get what they're trying to do, and it's again, I thought you have to see past the accents, because it's Disney. They tried to make it. Oh, they must be country folk, so that's what English country folk must speak like. It's Disney, and it's I did giggle, because they would have it'd be like a broken French English, and mostly it'd be like this weird crossover between
I'll be honest, as an American, 1870, so as an American too, and obviously Disney movies are always widely for American audience. They wanted to just translate, so most of us, no matter right or wrong, it is just the way it is. The same way I'm sure some accents from this country you guys can't always tell is exactly from where, but you hear, when you think of English player English, it would be easier or more translatable to the 100% common audience to just give it a regular English accent that people would think of from Britain and all that.
Yeah,
versus try to get the dialect exactly right. Which again, it's one of those things where you definitely knock a movie for it. You would prefer that they always go authentic. I can understand the choice. And for me, for years, it never occurred to me until I found out this time to like, oh, that's actually not exactly where I thought it was.
Yeah. If the movie was based in Jersey, I would have had a problem with it. But this breaks down quickly. Oh, now
and
we're
brings
out.
them all
And
right
all
over
that.
to America.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's just give them
and
all
you
the
get
English accent.
and you kind of would get that Harry, when he's done his tournaments in, of course, in England and all over the world, Scotland, England, all the other ones, and then gone abroad. His accent would probably got more loosened,
so
I could buy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well traveled, probably even a bit more, not
Yeah.
professional, but professional in terms of the press and all that. Maybe a bit more posh to a degree, something in that, like something a little bit classier. You can see being in that world with the classes set up that the way that they were. Somebody, especially him, who, as we'll find out in the movie, is truly just dying to fit in with these gentlemen, as they say it in the movie. You could see him trying to adopt a speech pattern more similar to theirs.
Yes. Yeah. So we get this young kid who gets woken up by, what do you call him? Oh, Sandy, what's
surveyors.
that?
I think they're like surveyors.
Yeah. That's what I don't know if there was a name for these guys with the hats like and the coats or whatever. But yeah, I would say surveyors.
Surveyors. And they're building a links course. So
in your house does not matter.
Yeah.
Not only does it not matter, you can't play the sport either. So it's a hell of a thing to wake up to.
Yeah. So, but then we quickly, I do like the things like the actual opening when it's got the credits, kind of the opening credits with the kind of half the black and white and the color.
The photos. I think it's nice. I think it's nice. It's always fun for me to see some of this, like, because some of those buildings still are exactly like that to this day in the city, and I know obviously across the world there's way older histories than the U.S. has, obviously. But one thing I do think is kind of interesting and unique about the U.S. is that we can still see parts of the beginning of our history standing in a way of like, wow, it wasn't too long ago that people were in there using that as it originally was. Versus, and it's kind of a weird way to not make up for the fact that our history is not that old, but I think it's a unique way to look at it. Some of these buildings I walk by, like the building I work in is 100 years old. And I think,
Jay, it sounds like you've been on some of my walking tours. Oh my God, you've been listening.
Right? But I do think that's just such a fascinating way that we get to experience our country's history, is that, like a lot of it's still standing, like much of your guys' stuff is, and across the world. But in a way we saw, would have seen people in it just not that long ago. To think 100 years ago, my work building was entirely different always kind of blows my mind. Sorry,
now,
side note, but I do like that opening.
I also really enjoyed the opening. Same thing. I think it covered a lot of ground that the book was also covering, because weaving in the stories kind of, so they tell the story in parallel, even though, again, it's 20 some years apart. It starts out with their early childhood. Both of them have golf courses, built on or near their property. Both of them are from the wrong side of the tracks. Both of them obviously have a skill and a talent that's encouraged by someone. Someone realizes it, not their family, and encourages it. But what's also woven in is the history of the time. Everything from what war is going on to who's fighting who to who's in power. I think that opening really covers all of that in a really good way. And again, it's really obvious this is a family film. There are very few films right now that you could just sit down with your kids and not have to pre-watch it or worry about what they're going to see. And this was when Disney was doing that well, when Disney was actually making family films. It might be one of the last examples of that. So I really like the opening as well.
So Jay, where's Brookline?
Little kind of like west of Boston. It's right next to it. It touches, I think, some of those cities there, and I think you can get there through Somerville, Cambridge. It's just all in that area, but it's a little bit more. The cities around there are tough. The people around there are tough in an annoying kind of way. Brookline is one of the most annoying to me. They have a very snobby way about them, as if I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just one of those, think of a neighboring town in your area or a city that's just a little bit snobbier than the rest. Thinks they're a little bit better than others. And there's really no reason for them to think that way. Brookline, it's just a lot of angry people too. Grumpy, cranky, stay off my lawn kind of people. I can't stand Brookline. I never go over there.
Has it got a golf course?
Yeah. Oh no, this course is legit, and it's still there. They just held the
okay.
U.S.
Yeah.
Open there in 2022.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yep. Yep.
There
No,
we
that's all real. Francis
okay.
Ouimet's house, that's real. It truly was
Yep.
across from the 17th hole. All that's accurate.
Yeah. So we got Francis is a caddy, a little caddy, and we got this little cheat who kind of nobody's looking. I will kick the ball. Yeah, and it's just I must say I got a little bit. You have to look at the dates. If you kind of the dates things. I was like, oh, is that when the kids? I thought that was Harry, because I was like, oh, but it doesn't make sense like that because they don't go. They don't say their names straight away.
It moves really
who it
fast.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did get slightly. I was like, oh, then I was no. I understand now. But yeah.
Now
so
here's
we
what I
get-
don't like a little bit. In some of the advertisements for this film, like the tagline, they talk about something to the effect of the unlikely caddy who became champion. I
Okay.
think that sells Francis way short.
Yeah.
Because he only became a caddy because he was so good at golf. It wasn't the other way around. Like they make it seem like this caddy turned into a golfer. He was a good golfer since he, the golf course is right across the street from his house. So he would go grab balls in the rough and sell them back to the golf. And they did. They would buy them.
Yep.
And so this is how the kids made money. And he would pick up broken sticks or sticks that people discarded and just start whacking them. And folks around the club noticed that. And then he became a caddy. But that just sells him a little short to say, oh, a caddy turned into a champion. He had that skill from the time he could hold a stick or grab a ball.
And they do try to touch a little bit on that. There's one point where his mother's like pasting a newspaper article of him having won the high school championship into like a little scrapbook. But it would have been nice if you saw a little bit. I mean, they try to do a little bit of it because I guess there's what we'll see with him in the ball that he finds and putting and all that in his room. But yeah, it would have been nice if they kind of touched on a little bit more. I'll say one of my complaints of this movie is there's some stuff they could have left out and some stuff I wish they touched on a bit more. And that his kind of love for the game, I think, could have been established a little bit better than just, it almost seems like you said, Sandy, he's a caddy by job and just like a bit talented and it all kind of falls.
Yeah, they could have just showed him like when he's not caddying, just looking at the swings.
Right,
just
because he's
like that, or just like, or just in like they show it later, but like in nearly like,
or if they just showed him as the caddy, maybe later on when it's Shia LaBeouf and not the kid, and maybe the kid was just picking up the golf balls and not like the fact that he was caddying already almost makes it seem like cause and effect versus found a passion that then led to him being a caddy later on. Not a huge deal, but I would kind of pick on that as well. I do think that would have been just a kind of better way to tell it. I think something about a kid with a dream just always tells a better story than, not a better story than, or just a different story than the way they go with, oh yeah, he was a caddy across the street from work and kind of figured out that he was good at golf. Like, no, the game called him to it and he found a way to be part of it is more of the, I think, artistic and actual way that it went.
That's poetic. I like that.
Thank you.
Well, and there's a scene that alludes to that later on. I'll kind of point it out.
Yeah, but I can't remember this guy's name. The actual
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they really name him.
No, they don't name the other side.
One of the challenges of the film, because reading the book, I'm reading all the names, and then I get to the film. And
they don't,
But he's the caddy master. Caddy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to even think. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the title they gave him.
Yeah, I don't think they even call it. Yeah. So, but yeah, he's making custom made clubs, of course. Yeah, and that.
But I believe he's Nope, probably got that wrong.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't know who he is.
No, don't think they actually give a name. But whilst he's there, of course, Francis is kind of admiring him with his he'd found the ball. And is it like when he walking past, is that girl on the horse in the stables? Is that the one? Like, is it?
Yeah, I believe so. And that's that'll be one of the silly parts. I think. I wish out of it,
yeah.
But what are you gonna do? It's Disney.
It's
well,
Disney, yeah.
If I were to tell you the number one thing that is not at all grounded in
Right.
reality that was
That
made
would
up
be
for
it.
this film.
I was going to say
Yeah.
that is when that whole when we get
And
to
it's
the
just
scene,
so
like,
unnecessary.
it's so Disney. They had a formula.
Right.
We need that, and that's your formula. And they're like, well, that's not what happened. Yeah, but it's just throw it in. We just need that them moments. But yeah, so he gets the ball. Of course, he's going home and giving his caddy money to his dad, who's I don't know what he does. Is it like he's like
He's
works
a
in the
ditch
rows?
digger.
It's he
He's a
works in
ditch
the rows.
digger.
Something, yeah,
Mm.
like trenches or ditches or something. It looked
Yeah.
like I couldn't tell.
Yeah. So I looked up. He's French Canadian, and his mother was
Irish, I
wasn't
thought,
it?
right?
Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Irish. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah. So and then of course we get.
And Stasis, I have a question for you. Actually,
Yeah.
did you find his accent to be good in this movie? The father,
It was
or
kind of
accurate
like,
to where you think he would have been from?
I
'Cause
got that. I was like, oh, he's got a weird French Canadian accent.
Okay,
I
so
was like,
it
that it
is
must be
not
like
super accurate.
it's yeah. I would have said it
Okay.
it was
Because
but
I've always thought, and my wife thought this too when we watched it, it's not a very good accent that he's doing. We figured it was trying to be
No.
French, obviously.
It's
but it
not a
just didn't sound
Montreal. It's
good.
not that. It must be like
Mhm.
the east of like I would have thought Quebec like that. But I'm guessing he's done it from things. I think actually,
Yeah.
I'll just have a look.
Well, I was curious
Um,
because I was wondering if maybe it was more accurate to a specific region and kind of a blending of accents.
Yeah, it
and
must
that
be,
would have been
yeah.
a reason why. And I don't think it translated well to at least myself and my wife. So I'm like, maybe that's why they do the things like do more of a generalized accent people would
I
recognize.
wonder.
It is. I think he's supposed to be Quebecois, but like
Yeah.
that-
Oh, he's actually Montreal. From Montreal. The actor.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
There we go.
but
So he's probably
back
yeah.
then-
It's not. Yeah, it's not Montreal or ish.
back
Doesn't
then
sound.
accents were
Yeah.
different than they are
Yeah.
than we do
Right, that as
recall them
well.
today.
Right.
So hey, you know what? I give Disney some credit for not making, everyone sound American English, or
Yeah.
for making all the good guys with the thickest English accent. Although they
Mhm.
do one of them, that it's that thing where the thickest English accent is the baddie.
Oh God. Yeah.
But I give him credit for trying here.
Mhm.
But
yeah,
yeah,
I was interested because I've always found his to be a bit odd, but it's
Yeah.
fine. Like I don't. It doesn't take me out of it or anything. But I've always found his accent to be a bit odd in this.
I think if I be honest, I did the father character because we get the ending with it just needed a bit more impact.
Yes,
it needed a bit more relationship.
Oh,
with
Stasis,
them two.
I said the same thing. I've said it every time. I said it again watching this movie, and I don't want to spoil everything. I think, but there's such a good payoff with it. But there's just something about his disdain for the upper class that I wish I knew more about. Like, what was it? Was it your dream that was crushed? Was it something that happened? Is it just a hatred of it for different? Like, there's just something. I understand what they're getting across with this character, and I think there's a really good payoff for it. I just feel like they sell you a little bit short on really touching into why it is. But sorry, not to jump ahead.
Yeah.
I
No.
love that point because I say it every time I watch it. And I could have done with more of that and less of the romance story.
Yeah, especially if they didn't jump there because there was quite a big jump in time. Like they just needed to spend a bit more time on this young kid.
Right. Because I think it would have, and I think it would have softened the father character a little bit because at a point he almost seems villainous, like an antagonist to Francis, and he's not. He's being a father and he's got great intentions. And by the end of it, you'll see that he obviously loves his son. But the way they kind of play it without just giving you that little bit more understanding of where he's coming from, it almost just comes off as antagonistic, which I think is a shame because there's a really good kind of father story there and it pays off great by the end.
It is. I think what's missing is there's a thread that's really missing from the film that I wouldn't expect it to be here, but it's the difference between a pro and an amateur. And it's the opposite of the way we think about professionals today. So back then, the professionals were looked down upon in golf and in other sports probably as well, because this is a leisure sport of the upper class. So if you have to be paid for it, you are looked down upon. Versus if you're an amateur, you don't need to be paid for it. And that theme is missing from this film. And that's what the dad character was frustrated with. It was because Francis was competing and he ended up competing his entire life as an amateur and not getting paid for it. And that's what his dad did not comprehend, that you're doing these amazing things but you can't earn anything from it. Why don't you turn pro? And I don't even understand after reading the book why Francis Ouimet did not turn pro. I think because for him and for others who looked upon him, that's actually a step down, is
Mm.
to turn pro. And here he was, this kid from the wrong side of the tracks who was welcomed in. And you remember there's a scene where the kid keeps calling him Mr. Ouimet, and he says, "Call me Francis." And he says, "No, your professionals are called by their first names because they're lower class. You're an amateur. I have to call you Mr. Ouimet." And it's so opposite of the way we think about professional athletes today.
Interesting.
And I think that's also part of the dad's frustration is, so you're going to do this, you're going to spend all your time on it, and you're not going to get paid. Like, it doesn't compute in this man's
Yeah.
head. Doesn't compute in my head either. So,
and well, I was going to say, what's interesting is that I could see them. I'm sure the writers, like, understood that might have been the period of time and how it was. And I wonder if they made that change because that is a concept that in a modern audience in 2005 wouldn't be able to really wrap their head around in a quick movie like this. Like, it's almost easier to just make it about class and just they'll never accept you type of thing, which I think is also a good story to tell for this time period as well, because it's the truth. So that's really interesting to know that. I was not aware of that kind of way that golfers were looked at back then. So I would almost guarantee that must have had something to do with why they chose to write it this way.
Even in the scene where Harry, we'll get to it, but where Harry thinks he's going to be invited to join a club and they want to pay him for it. And you see the disdain on his face, the disappointment, because they want to pay him and not let him in the club, which would mean he's
right.
an amateur.
And that makes so much more sense now.
No, we want to pay you. And he looks distraught. And it's like, well, that doesn't compute for us today, but that's how they thought about it.
And I always just took that as more so him being let down by just, he thought he was going there to be accepted finally. And it's still like, no, we just want you to kind of work for us and help us. So finding that little added layer is very interesting. I did not know that.
No. Let's move on. So yeah, we got the golfing where he's at night again, just practicing he's putting with So yeah, I like this again. It could have been more. It just needed more to show. He's missing it, and it would have been good when him just doing like silly putts and just being like, I'm naturally that good, and look what I can do. Just like walking down the street with the like hitting it, like walking, putting, like duk, 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 like that. Something needs something more. There's not enough of the young kid being just, I'm just naturally good at this. So it's a shame, but yeah, we can move on. But yeah, the next morning, of course, after his mum tells him to stop, he's got Harry's meet and greet, because he's coming over to play in the US Open. So it's a big deal. He goes, yeah, what's that? Can I go and see him? His dad's like, nope, you can't. You got to go to school. So yeah, he gets ready for school, where his mum goes, yep, you can miss school today. Don't worry about it. I need help with my shopping. Lucky enough, she goes to the shops, and she takes him to this, wherever the meetup is, I suppose you want to call it, where we've now meet older Harry, the first time we've seen him from Jersey. And he's doing like I'm guessing that like they're selling clubs, aren't they, or whatever he's showing you the sport of. So
yeah, they're selling sporting goods, and I don't know. I think
it's probably got
his
royalties,
ball
isn't it?
is called the Vardon Flyer. That's the ball that Francis finds. And he engineered a new kind of golf ball. Whatever was being used previously didn't have the rubberized middle part to it. So he helped design basically the modern golf ball, and it was called the Vardon Flyer. So he's going around to different department stores. And again, it's looked down upon that he has to, shill products, but he's got to survive. He's also supporting a family. The film omits his brother Tom, who travels around with him, but they have families to support. His brother Tom, also a very good golfer, and won a couple of tournaments. not to the extent that Harry did, but yeah, they had to go from place to place to sell stuff, but also they realized the business opportunity in the United States, because golf was just becoming popular here. It was always obviously popular in Scotland and then England, but there was so much opportunity here. The guy that we see later, that is the sports reporter that writes all those very favorable comments about Francis, he's actually already working with Harry and other golfers from Great Britain and other places to bring them to the United States, because he is so into golf and he wants to really promote golf through his newspaper articles. So that guy you see later, I think his last name is Darwin. He's the guy who's also getting these promotional tours together. So this is very early, product endorsements from athletes.
Interesting.
Yep. So, and this need a volunteer. Like that. And I do like how I'm guessing the names of the clubs are the actual because of what they call it here. They bronzy or something. Is it a bronzy?
I forget some of their names for the clubs. Didn't
a brassy
register with me.
This is
brassy. That's it. Brassy. Yeah, brassy. It's like that. That's brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, he goes and gives it a swipe, doesn't he? And he don't worry, and he puts his hands in the correct position. And again, it's leading up, and like this weird because you've got Harry really teaching Francis how to golf in one movement, and that's it. So he's been holding it.
If only it was that simple.
Yeah, but then I was thinking, like later on in the film, why didn't he acknowledge at this moment I saw you as a kid?
This probably never. Yeah,
it happened.
It did.
It
really?
absolutely happened.
Wow, I would have thought this was made up.
He didn't do the swing, but he met him at a department store, and they reminded each other that they had been at the same place. So while he didn't remind him specifically, they knew that they were both there, and they knew that it had happened, and that's where he'd met him. And later, when you see someone hand Francis the book that Harry had written, which was his life's work, was to actually put on paper all the important elements of golf. That was kind of something that they had shared later in life, talking about the book, talking about him seeing him on tour and how it inspired him, changed his life.
Yeah.
But the element that most impacted a lot of people about Harry Vardon was completely omitted from the film as well. And it's in another important thread.
Yeah.
And that is the fashion. I'm not kidding. Harry was also in the United States to peddle and to promote what you guys call +4s or +6s, whatever those pants are.
Oh, yeah.
Not here, but what Harry came up with as the golfing outfit was all the rage in Great Britain. And then there was another golfer who had another style, and they were kind of competing. The only hint of this that you see later is in the US Open scenes when you see John McDermott, the loudmouth American, and he's in his all white, and he looks to stand out when he's on the course. He also had his own line of, his fashion. So important in the book was also what they looked like out on the course. But they don't do that here. But that was also something he was out promoting was his fashion for playing the game.
Interesting.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. It's get as much money as you can.
Right.
Yeah. So
I mean, milk it for as much as you can.
Yeah. So yeah, and this, the dad catches him, in the garden, next to their patch of greens, like, and I was like, yeah, but he's like, I would say, because now they are a whole 17, so you would expect him to have picked up, it's not a new thing, he would have picked up golf, but that's okay. But from that, we get, of course, to London, where we find out quickly that, Vardon has won the US Open. Now I'm going to actually put this up because I found this quite interesting from Daryl. There we go. After made a $200 That's like, what's that night? This is what it'd be
This-
1901.
Well, so this
must
is when he
be.
returned. I think the game they played took place in 1913.
1913. Yeah. So yeah, after winning 1900. What's that?
Yeah, I guess it's written right in front of us.
Yeah. Sandy, inflation. How much money is that today?
I'm on it. I'm on it. $200.
And then his golf ball was sold for.
Yeah, can we do a reverse inflation to see that what that would be in 1900? That's interesting.
So $200 in 1900. Oh my God, my inflation calculator doesn't go back that far because we only started the standard in 1913. Okay, so just hang on. It's just going to be 1913. So the $200, if it were 1913, coincidentally, would be $6,582.
Wow.
So yeah,
and what it's a couple of million now for the US winner. Like guaranteed.
Oh gosh, yeah.
God, I can only imagine.
Has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if it was all like the winner wins and then nobody else wins anything.
I can't imagine they had a ton of prize pools there.
Because maybe, even like if you finish
like
last,
third at best.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think they're doing huge payouts all the way to like top 15 or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which is probably why these golfers are going around doing as much as they can to, hawk a bunch of golf stuff for people to buy.
Well, that's it. Yeah. 200. Yeah. That's
clothing lines, golf balls, whatever you can tease, whatever you can come up
with.
You
think
actually, no, they were using dirt tees at this point. So I couldn't even tell.
So, yes. Well, that's the same. Like the, even the travel cost and like that hotels, travel, I'm guessing a lot of them, like
well he makes the reference to it, which means like if he's even making the reference to it and he's the best golfer coming out of Great Britain, then everybody else must be paying for their travel and all that.
They needed sponsors and so the total prize money for the 1900 US Open was $800. So if he got 200, then there might have been some hundreds and 50s and 25s and 12s and whatever's, but total prize money $800.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's mad. Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, even when you do the inflation, what did you say the 200 was? 6,000?
6,000,
even that's kind of like, that's not even a lot today.
It's not.
I would have thought it'd be a hell of a lot more.
Yeah. I'm guessing that I bet you there'd be games they would play where he would go in against the rich and say, $5 a hole.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like
that. There were.
Because it would guarantee there'd be betting. Yeah, there would be some dodgy bettings and stuff like that. Yeah,
they actually they were on this tour again. He and it was his brother Tom, but then also Ted Ray, who was also a Jerseyman. He and his brother Tom went across the country, and they'd play the best in different places for money, but they had to make it work. They had to play back to back to back to back, and just the day before the U.S. Open, he had played like 5 straight days of 36 holes a day. And there's no break. And there is one point in the film where they show his hand gripping the club and you see a tremor.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed that the film, didn't go into this. And you wonder, is he nervous? Is he drinking? He had tuberculosis while he was on one of these trips and would not stop playing. He wouldn't stop playing. He was coughing up blood. He almost died twice. They had to drag him off the course once. In the one British Open before this, he had to go and lie down in the caddy shack in between rounds, covered in like ice and just to get his temperature down. But he would not stop playing. And from that bout of tuberculosis, he did get sent to a sanatorium for a few weeks to finally heal. But from the tuberculosis, that created the tremor in his hand. And it really did impact how he played. He had to, to really, really fight. But it would always come back at the most, at the worst possible times. But they don't go into it. I hope people don't think sometimes people see that and think that someone's a drinker. He was not. It was because he had tuberculosis and he fought it off. God bless.
I honestly, that is incredible to know. I did not know that story. I was aware that he and Ted Ray would do some, because I believe that's why this got pushed off by 3 months, was that I think he and Ted Ray were doing a tour through America, an exhibition tour like that. And it's, this is usually in June, got pushed off to September because they were doing that tour and it all lined up for them to be able to play then. But I didn't know the story about tuberculosis and all that. That's crazy. And the way it's always played off in the movie, for me at least, without having known that, was more so I thought it was because obviously they play up with the 5 guys with the hats or the 4 guys with the hats that, essentially kicked him out of his house as a kid.
Yeah.
I've always played it as like a little bit of age catching up with them and something of just nerves and all that kind of thing. Like I never thought drinking. I will say I never went to drinking. I always went to just nerves or maybe age catching up on them.
I thought when they were trying to mark out he had Parkinson's, I was like, that's why I looked up. I was like,
I just kind of thought older guy. They were kind of playing up the. I mean, it seemed silly to even show that one glimpse because, like Sandy says, they don't really touch on it or go back to it, and his play never suffers from it, so I don't see why they even included it if they weren't going to tell the story of tuberculosis. I see why they didn't, because it's a Disney movie and they probably didn't want to go into all that and the coughing up. Like, I get it, but to just show that tremor and then not really touch on it again is just, or have it really ever affect his play. I don't know. It is an odd choice.
Yeah. So we go on to that, and then he goes to the gentleman's club to see Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, pretty much, honestly.
Literally, when I was like, oh my god,
with a monocle.
It's literally, I was like, and Disney, well done, Disney.
And this is your standard English bad guy that we all know and love.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, there you go, you've got it, well done. Yeah, so he comes back with the trophy, and he believes what Sandy kind of alluded to, that he thinks he's being invited to join the club. That he's really excited, and they're like, oh yes, they question his lineage, let's say that, because who was your mum, who was your dad, she was French, or we can work around it. Like that, until he gets offered to we want you to work for us, and like you can,
he's like, oh, my game is, I've got something wrong with my game, I could really use your help. And it's just that you see the soul just leave him. Like, I thought I finally made it to acceptance. And like, it's no matter how it's that real, I think also the realization of there's like nothing more I can do. That'll, like, it's one thing to be rejected, but still think, all right, well, if I come back and win another thing, maybe I'll get it next time. This is the one that you can tell for him is like, there's nothing I can do. You guys are never going to look at me as one of your own.
Yeah. And this has been happening before the times of Rome.
Like
that. That's the thing. Is like,
I mean, it's a timeless story, unfortunately, but just the classes, the haves and the have-nots, it's something that just repeats itself in unfortunate ways. And it's fantastic when you see people overcome that, like we'll see in this one.
Yeah. So he gets a bit of a kick in the nether regions, put down, whatever you want to call it, and then we go time jump straight away, and then we see now older Francis again, what we saw just practicing, he's putting to do that, and he's quickly, then we jump from this, he's we get what he's won his high school champion of ship in golf, and now we see him, he's ready to do some caddying, where the guy, he's again, I can't remember his name. I
know they say, it's just slipping my mind at the moment.
But he's like, go and get your clubs. We're gonna put, we're playing. So excited, comes back, plays, and then of course, whilst he's playing in the things, he notices the.
I think it's Mr. Hastings. I think this is Mr. Hastings.
Yes, that does sound correct.
And this is the part that did make me go to Caddyshack. I'm so sorry to say, because Caddyshack, it's the the old guys that are pairing up and they need to win, and you need to find the best person, even if it's the caddy who's the best player, and that's what this old guy Hastings and of course in the book, they're paired up a few times, and it is for money. Like and it's the dirty dealing. Now Hastings is a member of the club, and they're not supposed to do, forget about using a caddy on your team. You're not supposed to make these, a gentleman's bet is never for money. But they're playing for money, and he wants Francis, and they win. and they win a couple of times together. And the caddy guy, they make it seem like in the film that this was a setup, that they wanted to see how good he really was.
Yeah.
That's not the true
They would
story.
already know. Yeah.
Mr. Hastings just wanted him to play with him because he knew he was good, and the the caddy master, whomever, knew he was good. They all knew he was well. They didn't have to test him in any way.
Yeah, but yeah, they're trying to get him to. Is it the US qualifiers, isn't it? That's what it is.
This is just an amateur tournament. I think
just,
it was a state Massachusetts state amateur tournament, if I recall.
Yes.
Well, no, excuse me. I believe because I want to say he had won that tournament that would have allowed him to try in the next qualifying tournament. That's the one featured in this one. If I recall, I could have that. I haven't looked up the Francis story in a while, but I believe he had won the mass amateurs, and this was for like the national amateurs or something. And that's what they just focused on here.
But even here, he's looked down upon even trying to get into the tournament. So was it $50 buy-in, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
He's not a member of he can't be a member of the club. He's a caddy. So like he's in a little bit of a loop, and the only way to get the $50 is if another member vowed for him, and lucky enough, he does. But even he's very much are you going to go pro? No, I'm going to be a businessman. Yeah, so he's like straight away, even though it might be good. Yeah.
And you're just starting to see the parallels between he and Harry Vardon, and they're different stories, definitely. Yeah. But it's almost like they're trying to tell you it's a different story, but it's really just kind of different timelines of the same story. Where Shia's character Francis is now going through what Harry probably went through at his beginning to even be allowed to make a name for himself on tours and things like that.
And this is he goes, Dad, this is again another pushback. What's the point? $50. What is the point? He just make some money.
And keep in mind, you're talking about a time where the winner of the U.S. Open just won $200. So a quarter of that is just the buy-in. Like that's when you put it into that perspective, which I haven't until Daryl just gave us that information. It just puts that $50 even into like, oh damn, like, that is
it's like
a lot.
But even like if that was £6,000, that's still a
for a grand. A family of I don't know how many exactly, but multiple children trying to make it by, like that's a lot of money for you to go play golf. So these are the parts where you get the father and you get where he's coming from. It just loses a little bit in the middle, gets a little too against him.
Now we go a little bit Disney really much on the next scenes where we get him. Yeah, we got a gift. Okay, got a book. Yes. Yeah, how to play golf. But then we get it's Emma. I think it is. Is it Emma?
I forget this girl's name every time. Let me see if I can find it because it's just a story I don't care about.
Yeah,
her name's Sarah.
Sarah. Okay. Yeah. That's the thing. She's pointless to the whole story. They just we need a female element, and it needs to be.
And and I'd even say it does help drive the class difference narrative quite a bit, and I think specifically this scene, it does it the best. The rest of the movie I could have done without, it. So because although I do think this scene was done well and it helps add to just the class disparity or the class difference between, Francis and everyone else and building up on that never accept you kind of story theme. I think this helps that. But with how pointless the rest of it is, I think that does more harm to it than this does good. So I could have done without all of it, if that's not a super confusing way to say it.
But even at this point, he lies, doesn't he? He's like, oh, my...
train from Philly.
They got messed up and like that. So, he's still trying... He's trying to fit in as best he can. But from that, we now get our first game of golf. So we're at tournament name. So I'll find it, whatever. But, he... Again, just do this. Let's say it's a game of golf. We're having a game of golf, and he's against one of the upper class kids, I suppose you want to say. So, but he gets there, and unfortunately, he on the final one part. I think like that he loses it on the final hole, doesn't he?
It makes sense. It was just qualifying, so he wasn't head to head with his competitor. I don't believe, just as part of his opposition for the matchup. I think he needed to sink the putt, or I think that because the caddy master, if that's what we're calling him, because I forget what his title is, he lets him know he's already at stroke 4. He has to sink this one to, make the qualifying number, and obviously doesn't.
And then, he goes, of course, from that. It's quite good, though, because you actually see it. He's absolutely gutted when he actually goes home, when he loses. Yeah.
He is, but now he's all over the newspapers, because even though he didn't qualify, he was so young, and he got a lot of attention. That newspaper guy was already on his trail.
Yeah.
And he's really promoting him. And so he certainly has great promise. There was no criticism of him. There was actually a lot of encouragement, except at home.
Right.
Yeah.
From the one person a young kid's going to want it from the most. And that's one thing I think we glossed over that we forgot to mention. Part of the $50 deal with his father was, you lose, you never play golf again. You put this whole thing behind you and you focus on, making an honest living. So that's why, it sucks to lose, but coming home and kind of, the first person you look at is your dad, and you would want nothing more than him to just kind of, console you, the pat on the back. You did good. You did good, son. Get him next time. He knows that, like, his father secretly, or in his mind, he's probably going to feel like you wanted this, and his father did, to a degree, I'm sure, if that side of this story is, based on the truth of their relationship, but not in a malicious way that I'm sure he feels like it might at this moment. His father wants it in the way of, I want you to be a grown, successful adult. I don't want you playing this silly game. And he probably looks at it more of just like, yeah, you got what you wanted. Like, congratulations.
Well, he goes to his room. Yeah, and takes, all the paper clippings down and everything, doesn't he? So, it's, for now, he's done. But
speaking of that scene where he goes to his room, before we move on, I wanted to point something out. This movie, and I've noticed this a few times now when I've watched it, and each time I get more impressed by another shot or another scene. There is really good camera work in this movie and cinematography. The way they pose some of the solo shots on people is phenomenal. I think it looks great. The wide shots, the looks at the golf course, even some of the visual effects stuff they use to follow golf shots and all that, I think at times looks a little dated, but you put it back to 2005, you're like, wow, this is creative in how they shot this film. But in this specific bedroom scene where he's kind of pulling the things off his wall, going to the window to look out at the golf course, they do these mini, and I noticed it this time around where I didn't quite before, but they do these kind of mini one shots where it starts off as if you're standing at the door, then it kind of closes into him and goes over his shoulder as he's looking at the clippings, then follows him to the window and frames it perfectly where all the action's in one left window pane and he's looking out of the right. Like, there's some really subtly great camera work in this movie, and it's throughout all of it. A lot of like crouched over to look at the shots. The camera will kind of, one shot pan up with the actor as he's crouched looking at it, and then over his shoulder to go to the golf shot. I said it to my wife today. I'm like, this movie kind of has no business having camera work this good and creative for the time. I was really impressed by it. I think the most ever today when we watched.
Yeah, they tried to make the movements between in the scene. And I think some of the shots you get, especially later in the last one, where the ball gets tracked in certain bits.
Yeah.
They tried to give that pan effect, and I think, that kind of worked.
And sometimes it looks a little iffy. Because they do too much on the visual effects.
Yeah.
Like, there's one specifically where they cut through trees to go from the hole that Francis is on to the hole Vardon's on. Sorry, getting his name all mixed up. And at those times when they overdo the length of it or things like that, the effects kind of get a little weak. But man, a lot of times it looks really good. And then just again, the regular shots just shot really well. The color palette I love. Looks like the greens look green. Everything looks rich. It's a really, really nice looking movie. Surprisingly so.
It is. Now, the one shot, I thought you were going to talk about the shot that Ted Ray hits through the trees to the hole.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, that's a good version of it. I think that one looks great.
Exactly how it's described in the book. He made that shot. That is an actual representation of a real shot that he made. The book says, 5 rows of trees behind, and he got it through the trees and into the hole. And I like that camera work too, because it really captured the way the book was describing the amazing shots that, that were happening during that tournament.
It captures. I'm sure that unfortunately I've never read the book, but now I want to. But I'm sure it captures it by description. And even if you're just somebody who goes out golfing or likes golf to any degree, it captures the game really well. Like something about this movie just feels like golf. Like it's not shot in a way that like Happy Gilmore, for example, the original we won't even bother talking about too. It doesn't like feel like golf. It just feels like a comedy with a golf setting. This one feels like you're watching and you're in the thrill of a golf game. I think largely in part because of the way they filmed it and the color palette choices, things like that. It just looks great. It's a really good looking movie. And it always catches me off guard because it's just a random sports story from, the early 2000s type of Disney movie. And whether it was Bill Paxton's eye himself or his cinematographer, whoever he hired, just job well done, I think, across the board.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. They didn't do any other directions straight away after this.
Yeah,
so I guess it made them, because it looked like he knew what he was doing. Like
like it's a well-made movie. I think from a lot of fundamental standpoints. Is it perfect? Of course not. Nothing really is. But I think in a lot of fundamentals, it's a really well-made movie. You you can branch off into score, costume design, all those things. But I don't remember it being super successful. So I'm curious to see the numbers by the end and wonder if that maybe had something to do with whatever he got next for work. As a director, at least.
Yeah. So we're from that. We're now snooker game. Would it be in billiards? I'm sure it would be billiards. I'm picking.
Not sure. I guess it's not billiard. It's all red balls, right?
The colors look like snooker.
It's a big table. Yeah, they got pockets. So
I've always wondered if that first ring. I used to wonder if that first ring of smoke that he blows out was real. And it was just one amazing shot.
It has to be CGI, right?
And then eventually, as I got older, I'm like, nah, that's got to be CGI. That can't be real.
Why have that?
Wouldn't that be? I don't know, but
I don't get it.
So
I don't get it. It's just, why did you put that in?
Yeah.
Somebody did the effect and they went, "Oh, we've done this effect. Do you want it anyway?" And they're like, "Yeah, go on, put it in."
Yeah, I guess just leave it in. You did the work.
Yeah. So this is their getting, of course. Harry back to bring the kind of the US, but like I don't like this scene, I must say, this bit, because the whole point of it is they want to send Harry back because they just don't like the Yanks and they need to put him in their place. It's so Disney-fied. It's a bit silly because Harry, he would want to get over there to play golf and be showed that he's the best. It's a bit Disney on the nose.
This is out of order.
In terms of them trying to create a villain of the movie, it is. I mean, I think Harry's motive is still he's actually wearing Robotnik colors too. Actually, there the red.
There you go.
But I do think Harry's and we see the kind of division between Harry and this guy, and even Ted and Harry and this guy, of their motives. And I do think even at this point, Harry's motive is still just to go over there and win and be the best. It's definitely an oversight. I could see to a degree, maybe some high ups or just elites like this being like, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could add that to our trophy case or whatever they say?" That I can see the root in what they were going for, but it just feels too kind of like, I'm sure these guys have bigger things to deal with. I don't think this would be their main concern right now. So it's a little bit of a silly villain. But what I do like about it is it sets up that it's not necessarily US versus Britain in this movie or England in this movie, however you want to look at it in terms of this guy. I'm assuming he's actually English, even though Harry's wouldn't be considered from England. But we'll say Great Britain. Does that work? That cover all our bases. I like that they don't just try to make it US versus Great Britain. I like that it's class based. Everything in this is class based. The haves and the have-nots. Even though Harry's kind of working with the haves at this point and might be a bit of a have in terms of his own personal fortune at this time or whatever he might have. Maybe it's not a fortune. He may not be a have-not anymore, but that's still what he's rooted in. That's still what he knows. And it creates, this is the bad guy, yes, but there's also the American versions of this kind of bad guy because there's the class guys keeping Francis down. And here we have these two guys in the middle. One's English, one's from Britain, one's from America, and they are, not really against each other. They're kind of on the same side as the common person here. So I like that. It's not America versus Great Britain. It's the haves versus the have-nots on both sides. There's English characters to root for. I mean, because at least I find myself always liking Ted and Harry quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
I think they're great characters. I think they both have great characters, like moral character to them, and great roots in remembering where you come from. So it's yeah. I just like that they give you that. There's English guys to British guys to root for in this, as well as American guys, and I just always like that. I appreciate that it's not country versus country. It's haves and have-nots.
Yeah.
Now, the film goes a little out of order here because this actually happened, but it happened, if you recall, John McDermott, the flamboyant guy in the all-white outfit, he makes this speech
later,
ahead of the open about how, he wants to, show up the British and, that this is never leaving our country again. He was even more rude than that in real life. And that's what set off.
Oh, he's from Philly after all.
Yeah, that's what it is.
This kid in Philadelphia, people, if you're in the audience.
It is. Sorry, Philly people, but you're worse than Baltimore people. I'm just kidding. We're all on the same coast. If we're going to go against each other, it's going to be East Coast versus West Coast.
That's
so
true.
We're all on the same side. But what he did really set people off in Britain, UK, England, etc. And so then going forward, they were always referencing that. And the USGA, or whatever it was called back then, sanctioned McDermott because they knew the minute those words came out of his mouth that life was going to be super hard for any US golfer going across the pond from now forward, that they weren't going to be treated well. And they weren't given space in locker rooms. They were, there was one story of a guy who got like the worst caddy. Like they would set you up with bad caddies who didn't know what they were doing or were purposely trying to, give you the incorrect advice, all because of that guy shooting his mouth off. And that's when there were these conversations about, well, we're taking that cut back from America and bringing it over here. So it was this was out of order, and it really wasn't related to this part of the timeline at all.
If they did that, it would have made I'm guessing like it would have made for a better story, but because it's Disney, they wouldn't have wanted to make a US person look like the bad cocky person, and then the Brits
downplayed it.
Yeah. And to have that, it would make a better storyline, because it'd be like if it was like, even if it was like they read in the paper, look at what they're saying about like us, we can't, a lot of this foul mouth American now, and we're going to get our own back on this. It would have made a little bit more sense, because when we get to that scene, it's just a bit, why did you say that? Like a bit weird.
It feels so awkward.
Yeah,
it just feels so awkward.
Yeah, but yeah, it's misplaced, but we get there because we're getting quite close to that. But yeah, so on that, and then we meet Ted, another Jerseyman. And he's was he this built? Because I've seen some.
No, he wasn't
a normal.
Well, I haven't seen him. I've seen clips of him skinnier than this, but a big guy. No. I don't know.
He was the power hitter. Yeah. They called him like the Babe Ruth of golf. Like he had no finesse, but he could just drive the ball farther than anyone. He was just. I don't know if he was this big, but he was.
Yeah, because they got these compassion.
He was a big guy for sure. They beefed him up in this. He was a bit skinnier in real life, but he was like a tall big guy. Bigger than your average guy at the time.
In Francis in real life was over 6 foot, and they make him really short.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah,
I've always seen the picture of him and Eddie.
Or something, yeah,
I've always seen the picture of him and Eddie side by side, and obviously Eddie was a kid, so I just always assumed that was the height difference.
No, he was 6'2" or something like that, and Harry was like 5'9". Okay. So but they recruit him because they want we can kick their asses, but we kind of, just in case somebody messes up, I'm guessing. So there's 3 of them that go out there, going off to things. But whilst we get that, of course, now we get back to a really pointless scene. I don't know why this was here.
No.
I'm guessing it's to show.
This is an incredibly important scene.
Is it? I don't get it though. I don't. But why? Because all it is to show.
This is the be the ball scene. This is when he comments to his mother, that when she says, "Did you enjoy it?" and he said, "Yes, I did." It was like the music was
Mhm.
coming through her.
No, okay, that bit I get, but why are we seeing Sarah again?
Oh, because they had to shoehorn her
Oh,
into
well,
the
yes,
movie for
Sarah,
more.
but I'm sorry, but the
That bit I'm
music,
on about,
I
yeah.
thought you meant the music because
No, I
he
mean
was
the
reading.
Sarah bit. He had to look over because
Yeah,
he's
'cause there was
Yeah,
no
that's
Sarah.
just
and then
trying
the
to fit her
Sarah,
back
it's
into
No.
the
like,
story.
yeah, that's
There's
the
no
pointless bit.
Sarah.
Yeah.
There's no
Mm.
Sarah, but he was reading Harry Vardon's book, and again, like hearing that, like you have, like the skill has to come through you.
Yeah.
It's the ball again. I'm so sorry. I'm like it's Caddyshack, but it is you have to, and that's where some of the camera work with the view of the ball cutting, and for Francis, it's kind of cutting through the trees, but for if you notice for Harry, it erases the trees.
Mm.
In his when he's doing it, when you see it from his point of view, everything else disappears except the cup. For
Mhm.
him, his ball is going through everything to get to the cup. It's that visualization, and that's where he understands what it means because he's read the book, but he doesn't understand it. But in this scene and in the real life story, he mentions seeing an opera singer and finally understanding what it means to, to be one with it. Yeah.
Mhm. Right, to truly be in tune with like greatness of what you're doing.
Does anybody just want to say that because it is quite funny? You did make me giggle there.
One thing I'll actually I just thought of in my mind here that I'd like to point out, because Sarah is really shoehorned into this to be like a love story motivation for him. And I think something we hear complaints a lot about with tropes with females in movies is one of the tropes of damsel in distress. Women always have to be saved. Sometimes why can't they have their own agency, get themselves out of their own issues, things like that. And I think it's a fair point. I think it is a little bit fairly well overdone at this point. The damsel in distress, and it is nice to see strong female characters, well written, all that. Ripley, Aliens, we've seen it. We know what I'm talking about when I say well-written strong female characters that work and have their own agency. One trope we see for men a lot in movies, and this is one, is that there has to be some female, lead. That's the reason why that motivates them, or the little luck charm gets them past the end. And I think that's a little bit overplayed as well. And we don't hear enough complaints about that. Sometimes a guy's just got a driven goal and he wants to be the greatest.
But why?
What's wrong with that story?
You wanted it's blatantly a tick in the box by Disney. They needed, no, you need this. Why didn't they do it with the mum? She's
right,
hard working.
yeah.
She's probably
That
got
could be the female backing that
yeah,
you
that could have
need,
been it.
that shoulder to cry on, that move, that consoling, especially with the father not being very consoling with this.
Yes,
I think that's a better story to tell. And you sacrificed it for a classic. Oh,
You're
the girl
right.
he loves is the that trope, and that's just as overdone and just as kind of like.
And
the guy can have his own agency too and just want to be great, and he drives himself because his family or whatever it is, his own goals, determination. It doesn't need the little pocket luck charm that didn't exist. Like that's just silly to me.
And it could have been interesting. Like she would have been first, second generation immigrant from Ireland, and then just have that is like gonna think, but the time period it is. She's you're I hate to say it, you're getting married and you're gonna have kids, and that's your job, is looking after the kids and the household. Having that, but she always, I did have a dream, but this is society, and actually trying to do it from the women's point of view to him because he has a dream for golf. But she might have had another dream when she was younger.
That's a great point.
And they could have really formed that. And that's
far more interesting story to tell.
You got that. Yeah,
I think so.
And probably far more accurate to what might have happened.
Yes.
I mean, I would get. I can't say for sure because I don't know what their relationship was like. But since Sarah didn't exist, I can tell you that 100% wasn't accureur. So at least this would have had the potential of being accurate. It would have made sense.
And then, like, I have a dream. I love you. I love your dad. And like that, but he's
chase the dream I never got to.
Yeah, but he's working 18 hours a day for pittance, like that. He's a digger, and he's coming home, he's knackered, but he's still he's still there for us. But I've got whatever the 5 kids as well, and I've got to do you do it all, but like that job now, it's still hard. That job back then with 5 kids and you're all doing everything by hand, you can't just go, here's an iPad. Give me 5 minutes. It's literally,
And that
would've
will
been
be
good.
by the end. That will be one of my critiques of this movie is that I think there's so much more to tell and such a good story to tell with
Yeah.
each of his parents
Yes.
that it didn't get
Mm.
touched on enough because his mother is the rock. I mean, is clearly the mother is his rock. We see that
Really
from when he's a kid
encouraging.
to where he is now.
Yeah.
Like she's his rock. His father's obviously a huge part of his life as well, but she's the one that consoles him and all that. And you know, that neither parent in the relationship with them gets touched on as much as it should.
Yeah.
And you know,
That
I'll
is-
admit also Sarah's not in this a ton. It's not like
Yeah.
she takes up a huge chunk of it that like if you took the
Yeah.
time away from her, there still wouldn't be that much more to give them because she's not in it that much. But just to even think that any of it, the time that could have went to them got wasted on this line is like, you could have left that out.
Yeah. But yeah, so the opera, it's not an opera, is it? It's every bit, and I'm guessing
I
it's.
couldn't tell you.
I'm
I'm not
not
classy enough for this.
It's a variety
vaudeville.
show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So like, somebody comes on. They probably did a song and a dance. Somebody comes on with a couple of jokes, and then this, and then But we go back to that now. He's at a shop working in Boston. It's like a sports place.
It's
Like
Ditson and Watson. He worked at a sporting. He did work at a sporting goods store, and
does that shop still exist?
I was gonna say there's no way that transformed into Dick's Sporting Goods, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was gonna say that would have been wild if it lasted that long.
But he did work in a shop, and in fact, even when he turned a certain age and couldn't caddy anymore, he went to work in the shop. So he was actually working in the shop when he was in that prior tournament in real life. But his boss, who is not exactly seen as terribly like the owner of the store is not terrible. His boss in real life was so supportive of him. Really, really supportive. Did give him time off. And it really, at least the way the book portrays it, it wasn't about the merchandising. It wasn't, ooh, I've got this phenom who's on my staff, so I'm definitely going to support him because then people will come to my store and buy stuff. That's not how it's written in the book. It's just written that this guy was super encouraging. And even when the newspapers put out that, Francis was playing in the, to qualify for the US Open, and his boss in real life called him in and said, Francis, you just took a week off for this amateur thing. What are we going to do about this? And he says, oh no, sir, that was the newspaper. I would never presume. I'm going to tell them to take me out. And just like in the owner's like, no, I mean, what are we going to do about this? Do you have enough time to practice? Do you need new clubs? What can I do for you? Like, he was so encouraging in the real life story as well. And it's really great because I love these stories when people who are ultimately successful are surrounded by people who supported them. And it makes me think of like some other really good biographies that I've read, where just, at least, the successful person takes that moment to really appreciate and thank all the people who helped you get here, because you didn't get here alone. And there's so many to think of, but the one, I don't know why, it just made me think of, just some of the stories of support and mentoring. But if you ever get a chance to learn about Tom Petty and how he got to be a successful musician, there were some local musicians who really took a shine to him when he was a kid, and they just tagged him along when they went to go help Elvis Presley engineer a song. And Tom Petty's a little kid meeting Elvis Presley. And because these other guys who are, audio engineers thought to bring him along, just think about that. And that's kind of what it made me think of here. It's like he did have these people who recognized his talent and just gave him the little opportunities to help to prove himself, even from the guy, Mr. Hastings, who said, grab your clubs, get out here with me. Come on, play. Let me see what you can do. I love those stories. These are such feel good. It's typical Disney. It's a good feel good story, but the real life story is a feel good story too.
But so on this, we get the chairman of the American Association for Golf. Is he something like that? And they're offering him to qualify. And it would make sense because now, if this is saying, it would make sense in your head if you had the previous champion kind of, this is our trophy. No bloody foreigners ever gonna have it ever again, kind of moment. And then they're going, yeah, we need somebody who knows this course, who's very good at it, because I'm guessing he played that course 1,000 times. So this is his home course, and I bet you they were like in real life, it'll be a good asset to have on the amateur to have on the team, because he knows it and he could tell everybody in the clubhouse who's American the layouts, what to look out for as well. So it's a good ploy on that. And yeah, they tried to get him in, and he's really like, no, I'm a shopkeeper now. Whilst he's doing that, of course, can't have a scene without Sarah turn
she
up.
pops up again.
He pops up again. And he instantly tells her, "Oh, I'm not a salesman." So he's like, what the cleaner? I'm guessing at this point, he's like the shop filler, like wherever he is supposed to be. So he kind of, I'll get somebody else, and yeah, he's a bit embarrassed. She tries to tell him you got to follow your dream and stuff like that. It's surfing. This is why, again, I get why they did it, because Disney wanted this bit. It's just nothing. It doesn't end anywhere. We'll get to that. But also, this wouldn't ever happen. It's like Titanic. It's not going to happen. Sorry, guys. Like that class difference is.
You just cursed us. You just cursed us, because although it's not on the wheel, just saying, if a certain category comes up,
don't do it. Don't do it to me. I made you watch Twilight. I made Twilight.
I know.
Oh my god!
You said it.
If
You've
that happens,
done it
Jade will piss herself laughing, because she knows how. Yeah,
Jade. He did it. It's his fault, not mine.
All I'm saying is this is great information for my pick. I'll leave it at that. I will leave it at that. If I had to do Twilight, I'll leave it at that.
It's not meant to be to harm each other. We're good friends here, but
I like Titanic. I got no qualms with Titanic, to be honest. I know nothing about the historical inaccuracies of it. So I also haven't
everything except for there was once a boat. That's
there was a boat.
I haven't watched it since probably like 2002. In fairness, so in my adulthood, I've never watched the movie.
Oh my!
But I was a kid during the whole phenomenon of Titanic, so I liked it back then.
Well, the time period is correct. We're in the correct time period. That's the correct clothing.
Liner,
so that's what. Yeah, it is a very Titanic-esque, Titan-esque.
It's just beyond even just like the class difference, and likely her never taking interest in somebody like Francis Ouimet. I just find the other unbelievable side of it being that she's just always popping up in these places. Like, why is she always popping up everywhere? Like, Boston's still a big city. Like, just running into each other all the
She's
time.
everywhere.
It's ridiculous. So that alone is like, all right, this is just so forced.
And she would have a chaperone.
I guess that's a good point too. I'm sure her father would just let her wander the streets of Boston.
Because didn't they say she's going off to college? Didn't they? Like,
something like that. I believe.
So she'll be So it's
and you just can't choose not to. By the way, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not there." No, you can't.
No. Yeah. And I'm not novel. She's not going to go shopping for her tennis racket or whatever. Like, she gets they get
the help does that.
The help does it. Yeah. It's like that, and it's still like that, because this is like they're supposed to be like this group, aren't they? The new money, I suppose they're supposed to be Boston new money, aren't they, or whatever? It's like that. But I'm like, but the rest of it, and I think they do that really well. Actually, in Titanic, they actually do that quite well with that woman who survived in real life,
Molly Brown.
Is she looked down upon because she's new money, and everybody else who's upper class. No, she's new money. Don't like that. And I think they do it in Downton as well, really well.
They do. Yeah, I think when they bring the Americans into Downton, that's really well done.
God. You're just new money. You're not society. You're not society rich, and it's like that. And they've got their own classes where
the people with old money are in rags, and the people with new money have a lot more money. Anyway. Sorry, we're going way off. All because of this hat. This hat is what caused this conversation.
Anyway, go move on then. So we get now to he goes to the Open, and Harry's doing a pre of like tournament, like round, isn't he? They call it, I think, like that. So, and then he's like, oh, well, if Harry's, he's actually here, and he's like an idol to him. Like you can, like he makes out, and that's why I don't get that when you have the conversation at the end. There should have been more of it, like you have like everybody who's ever played sports always had that player or the star that you dreamed of being like them, like that, and not to when you meet them is not to say anything is a bit weird. So, but yeah, he runs in. Is the can I still play if the opportunity is still there? And they kind of dismiss him. Yeah, we go out.
I mean, rightfully so. When somebody comes to you with an opportunity like that, and you tell them you're too busy because you're working at a sports goods store, I'd be just as dismissive when you came back begging for a spot as well. So fair enough there.
But then they agree to it, and then he goes on to full. I get it.
Just like, one day of training. That's all he needed.
Just
one
get
lesson.
you back out. Yeah, just just make sure.
This is the Disney stuff.
Yeah, that didn't happen because that guy who's giving him all these tips, it was the other way around.
Yeah, I would imagine he was a way better golfer than that guy.
Much.
This is just the Disney. We need a training montage. Where are we going to fit it?
And I guess even like he quit golf, I'm guessing he was still like, I would still play.
Oh God,
like you're gonna play. I'm gonna play it for. Right. I'm not gonna take my time. Like the odd, I'd do the back nine when nobody's looking. If you have that love of the game, you're gonna do it. It's a bit
you'll never let it interfere with or maybe not never, but you'll most likely not let it interfere with work due to the promise you made your father, but you're not going to just never pick up a golf club again. I mean,
no, even if you're just smacking it, like, just swinging that thing, it's,
and not for nothing. When you're that good, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a huge time jump between that. And I don't know the actual historical timeline between the loss at that amateur tournament to joining this. But I mean,
I think it probably is like 5 years.
I wasn't sure. I know at the very least. Yeah, do we know that, Sandy? I would be curious.
It's not that long. It's a
just months, maybe. Oh, even a year or two. Okay.
It's not that long at all.
I was going to say, I'm like, if you're that good at riding a bike. If you're that good at golf, it's a little bit like riding a bike. You're not going to you're not going to just forget everything either. So like, I don't know that this one little training session in the barn was doing all that much for you, but
unless it was like
they needed the visuals of
the only thing they would have made sense of was like, here's a new set of clubs.
Oh yeah,
that would have made sense. And then like, oh, okay, and then it's like, what's this? And they go, oh, it's such and such with like a brass.
Yeah, this is a new iron.
Just like something they go, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, but like, no, your foot's off. You're rotating it. Like that's not lessons this guy's gonna need. No. or even if it is, I don't think the caddy master is going to be the one who gives you those pointers. You're going to get it from somebody like Harry Vardon, who's better than you are, not not some guy who just takes care of the golf course. No disrespect to that character, but come on.
So we're at the 9 now. We're at the main thing, but we're at the qualifying round of the US Open, where it doesn't really show like he does a bit of golf, but it's all about really it's what we kind of spoke about. And what's his name?
What's his first name? Is it Joseph McDermott? Is that
I think it's John. I think it's John McDermott or Dan.
Yeah.
Dan. Wait, it's not Tom. Because I kept saying Tom because I used to know a Tom McDermott back in my college days, who looked like him, by the way. I knew Tom. Tom, if you're out there, Tom McDermott, my pal from college. With the red hair.
I want my pen back.
Yeah, seriously. But I think it's John.
Yeah. Was he a real golfer? A prominent golfer.
He was a golfer, a big mouth, and
okay.
And again, another one into the look, the fashion, because it was evolving. Vardon had his +4. Is it to the knee +4 inches? Is that why +4s with the bright colored socks, bright colored bow tie. So he would always have something bright, which was like unheard of. And it kind of kept evolving. Like he was really into the fashion. And then the golfers in the United States tried to come up with their own styles too, because they weren't just competing on the course. They were competing in the fashion, in the fashion for the sport.
Who's that one who I think, well, he does he still plays, but he's going to he used to wear the most flamboyant thing, and he always used to have a massive cigar, and always used to hit it really far. I can't remember his name. He's an American, and he's wears pink light sometimes.
I don't know. See,
flower,
I don't know my
I
golf.
can't remember.
Jay,
I
who
can't
is
remember.
it? I don't know.
This actor?
He's no, in real life, there's a golfer, isn't there? He's quite big, stocky guy. And he's.
Oh, were you thinking John Daly?
Yes, John Daly.
Oh, Daly. Yes. Oh, God, yeah, he is.
God, yeah, he has.
He's a character, all right.
Yeah, that's what you need, though. You need some characters in golf because,
he was
sometimes
just in Happy Gilmore 2, actually.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, he's got a role in it. He's weirdly one of the best. From what I saw, one of the best parts of it is actually him. But no,
you need characters. Otherwise the sport could get dragged on. When they're it's like when I think some of the best commentators are golf and cricket, because when it gets a bit boring, they have to be entertaining, and some of the things they come out with, it's great. It's
some of the there was a. I don't know if I think there's a FedEx. Not I think I know the FedEx playoffs is going on right now. So there's a tournament going on, and somebody in one of my friends' group chats sent in a tweet of a clip of somebody in this tournament who sent a putt just way too long right off the green back into the fairway. It was a crazy over putt, and I pointed out, I'm like, the way the British commentators insult people is so subtle and so calm and just so polite, but it just cuts so deep. One of them, I'm not going to try the British accent, so we're not going to do that. But one of them in this just very quiet, soft-spoken, very posh British accent just goes, "Oh, he's going to end up on the tee soon enough." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" Just how you cut somebody deep right after a horrible, horrible putt that went way too long, and it just killed me. So yeah, I agree. Commentating in golf just phenomenal.
But that's it. Having this, because everybody's in, really grays and browns, really. That's the things. Does somebody actually have their fancy socks, look at that, it would make sense. So
nowadays it's the game is so colorful in terms of the outfits people wear. There's all this stuff, it's come a long way for sure, but I mean it most likely started with trendsetters like these guys who maybe we stop the pants at the knee and put funky socks on, or wear an all white outfit. I'm sure it all originated back then. It's got to start somewhere.
So he kind of starts off his speech kind of very well, and then just kind of goes back. It makes sense what from the book and the time thing. It's just misplaced in this scene. It starts it's just you're attacking them. There's no interaction with the English or the Jerseymans or anybody from abroad. It's just attack.
Everything's very well. Yeah, it's everything's cordial and they're welcomed and all that. And I think part of the problem is we haven't met this character yet. So it almost seems like a total mood swing out of nowhere because he's being very polite and welcoming. You guys are here. He's the great blah blah blah. Harry Vardon, the stylist. Great to have you. And then he just flips this switch, and it's like we don't know anything about you yet.
It just comes. It just
feels out of nowhere. Yeah, way too rude.
Yeah,
they haven't built up enough of these guys are coming here to take our title back home to them type of thing. It doesn't build up enough of that. He just flips out on it out of nowhere. Maybe even just a small conversation of him and Francis, because we do get one at one point. I think it's after this where he and Francis, it's in the rain. It's right before the rain match where he's walking out of the clubhouse next to Francis, and he says something along the lines of,
yes, yeah.
I'm sick of them, whatever it is. This is our cup or something. And he says it to Francis, knowing that it's really just the four of them left at that point.
Yeah.
But that almost needed to come a little bit before, some interaction with Francis where we're like, oh yeah, this guy doesn't like the Brits coming over here to try to take the cup. I don't know. It just reversed those two things somehow, and maybe it works a little better. This just felt like a mood swing out of nowhere. It almost makes you seem a little unhinged.
It would have made even if they had some upper class Brits there, just took over the clubhouse and was this is us, like that. And he walked in and hold it, I'm the Open champion, and you literally treat me like this, and then just to get something to get his back up, just something really simple, or he went to go in the clubhouse and one of the helps from the British side just went, no, sorry, it's invitation only, and he's like, but I'm the Open champion, and they're
Right.
like, no,
Something.
you have to go around the side, and like just and something just little,
Right.
yeah,
Some
but it's,
kind of at least perceived
Yeah.
slight. Like where
Yeah.
they could have used the third British golfer there, the one that's the kind of the
Yeah.
asshole. Could have used him to do something
Yeah.
rude or some personal slight that could set it off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it
just took the
just
piss
comes
out of like,
so
oh, I
awful.
heard you came fourth or something in one
Right.
tournament, just something really,
Well, yeah,
you
like
know,
something to just, hey, I'm the champ. Yeah, well, not for long while we're here. Something like just at least anything to make it
But
not
that's the thing,
seem
'cause
like an
he's having
outburst.
But at the moment, because like it's how they think, because you like at the moment, I like Harry.
Well,
I
yes,
think
and
he's
that
like that, and he's
exactly.
like
And
nice,
Ted.
and
And Ted.
and you got so you got like, oh, she having a go at somebody I like, so it makes you go, oh, I'm not gonna rear for that guy. Like
Yeah,
that. So it's
well, and actually people around the country like them. Like they're not viewing them as British. They're viewing them as good golfers and people to aspire to, a level of skill that they're impressed by. So they're not really seeing that. The book also does weave in, the politics of the time, what's going on in the world. Obviously, we're heading toward a world war, the war to end all wars. And there was none of that. there was no nationalism going on. So yeah, it is misplaced, but this guy was off the chain in real life. He just went off, and part of it was probably just trying to make the headlines for himself as well.
Yeah.
Just some misplaced bravado, just a big nothing, but he wanted to make something. Obviously big, I don't want to stereotype the Irish, but that was trying to also, it really did happen. So this wasn't just, some Irish guy going off. It really did happen in real life, and it was misplaced in real life as well. It was a strange situation.
At least they got that right.
Yeah. But he did make it hard for future American athletes of any sort going over to Britain, because he was embarrassing, and they weren't given locker rooms, and they weren't given changing rooms, and they weren't, and they weren't given a place to keep their bags, and they had, so all of that. Yeah, it was a result of this guy. Of course, it was in the papers all around the world. The shot heard around the world, the challenge, another challenge from another upstart Yankee, but it wasn't. The guy's Irish. That's the other thing. Like, what I do love, about this period of American history is that this is where we're all starting to come together, all the waves and waves of immigration, but people come here and they are American, so they're going to stick up for American, whether you're Irish or Scottish or Polish or whatever. But this guy was just off. He just had a temper, and the film, I think you're right, doesn't explain that, even though that's what happened. It really does feel misplaced because he's in the film for so little time.
That's it. But yeah, so moving now, we're at the next day is now, of course, the qualifier. Francis has heard this as well, and the caddy that got him in from the qualifier has now been $20, and was it and $50 if I win the tournament from the upper class English guy, like things like that. And
which again, perspective, $200 goes to Harry Vardon to win. So this, I have a feeling they probably I doubt these would have been the deals that were cut for caddies. It sounds like they're overdoing it, maybe just for effect in the movie. But I mean, if true, that's a sizable chunk of money.
Yeah, but it's probably like, even like they got paid, like, I'll give you like $5 for the whole thing. That was probably a lot.
Yeah, that's probably more like,
right.
Yeah, that's probably more likely what the case was. $10 total if I win, type of thing.
Yeah, Francis is out of a caddy, so he, lucky enough, goes and finds this guy, and I won't show the other guy yet, but he's there with his brother, and he caddies at one of the other
Franklin Park
courses. Yep. And he's like, can you come here tomorrow? And he's like, yep, I can do it. I can do it. So yeah, he's found his caddy. He's told him can't pay. So he's relief caddy after he was going around, telling everybody, I got a caddy. I got a caddy. And they're like, yeah, you've got to go. Yeah, everybody's after one. So unlucky. Otherwise you got to, every man's in it for himself. And yeah, you've got to carry your own bag otherwise. So yeah, he manages to get that. And then, I'm gonna keep saying it. This is just a show again. The different class. Francis finds out where Sarah lives.
This never, ever would have happened. Even if she were a real person, this would have never, ever, 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 ever happened. Never.
Yeah. And he didn't doesn't her brother open the door? Yeah, he opens it. Yeah, that wouldn't have happened.
Nope.
Nope, the help. No, she's not here. Like, he would not have been allowed come in close to that door.
He wouldn't have even thought of it, though. He would have known that he's not going to get there.
Yes.
So don't even try it. Yeah.
No.
And again, just unnecessary for the class story that they're telling. Because look at Harry Vardon. They're telling the same class story with him from a different perspective of somebody who's made it pretty far. And there's no forced romantic storyline in his life or his world. Like, you told the story fine with him. And again, I get it. Shia LaBeouf. This was a Disney actor too, because he started off on Even Stevens, one of their shows. So they're, I guess trying to start off that trajectory of you'll be a teenage heartthrob actor and all that. So we got to give him the love interest. The similar, ironically enough, to what they did with DiCaprio in movies like Titanic and all that. So, to get that person established, you need to force these storylines.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Different contexts.
You guys did this, not me. I wasn't even thinking of Titanic
That's
today.
Right. Don't blame me. No, you're not blaming me. If it comes,
I wasn't even thinking of that movie.
But yeah, so after that, he goes back where his dad is on the porch, and just has a kind of, again, a non-supportive, but without context, really. So again, it's just unsupportive because they're trying to make that. So we can, it's not a very good scene.
And this to me is where they start framing him as too much of a villain, too much of an antagonist. Like, he's in the darkness, they're purposely trying to frame him as more malicious towards what his son's doing versus just generally worried about the outcome of if he fails and how that's going to affect him. And more so that he might just be wasting some of his time, which again, another fair worry for a parent. But the way they played off just seems, one, it seems too antagonistic. Two, I want to know why he's so afraid that Francis might get crushed by his dream, by these people not accepting him. Like, was it you? Did you have a dream that, the upper class didn't accept you and crushed you? Is it just a general fear? Like, I just want to know more about why he's so protective of Francis in this way, to the point where he's willing to essentially tell him, don't chase your dream for it. It's not worth it because this or this could happen. Trust me, I know, because I've seen it. I've been through it. I've what is it? There just needs to be more, because I think it would lighten up his character more and not make him seem so villainous.
Yeah. But it's just, it's things. But we move on to the next day where we meet Eddie. Now, because I said I thought I watched this movie, because I was like, oh my, Disney doing Disney, and then I was like,
no,
oh my, it was actually real. I was like,
down to like the attitude, that little snapback attitude. I've got something for you, no matter what you say. I guess that was very Eddie. I always thought at first, I'm like, that feels a little bit like Disney going for the comedic relief, but this guy and just that confidence in his ear. I mean, this kid was essentially Eddie, and I think he did a good job at it.
100%.
And 10 years, he was 10 years old when he did it. I was like, I will go into like the background stories of all of them bit at the end, but I was just like fascinated. I was like, how, but he's this little interaction. You can't caddy, and then everybody's laughing. This little thing, like the bag's bigger than him. It's things. Anybody go and have a look at the real life. Eddie Lowry.
Eddie Lowry.
Yeah, it's amusing. It's like he's look. There's a famous picture, isn't there? Like with him in the background.
Side by side.
Yeah, it's good. It's funny, but so he gets off, and then we get the first round of the Open. Oh, sorry, the US Open. The Open. This is completely different. And it's just like, he's every time he's being a caddy. He's like, I'm not going to tell you how to play the game. I'm gonna he's like comes out with
be your confidence.
Yeah, and he literally is just go, just little snap, little little
mottos, little
Yeah.
mantras for grip it, rip it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's like
I
like
don't
that every
think
time.
easy peasy lemon squeezy
Oh, that was
existed
one.
back
Yeah.
then. However,
that one
I
felt a
don't
little
know.
Disney. That one felt a little too Disney.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But
But
again,
okay,
also even like these are some of the shots too, where like I know I kind of loved the little one shots and the panning shots, but even just like the framing of two faces and it, like just the way the movie's shot, really well done.
But so yeah, we get on, and of course, whilst we're here, we get a little bit, Sandy. We're talking about our president.
Well, now
there we go.
I will say one of
we'll
the
be
best
back in half an hour, people.
You did this today. You've done it now. No, I'll just say one of the best parts of the book, as I mentioned, it does talk about history outside of the world of golf, and I'm a huge fan. My favorite president is Teddy Roosevelt, and the president before Taft. And Teddy Roosevelt was a huge, naturalist. He was an explorer. He loved the national parks. He was all about getting people off their bums and doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you weren't, he was obviously, he was a colonel in the army, and he went out and did stuff. He played sport. Even he advocated for golf for the people who couldn't very well get up and do manly sports, right? As I guess he would say back then. And there was this thing between him and Taft where Roosevelt, it was kind of his way to make a dig at you. If he acknowledged that you were good at golf, it was like, oh well, you're good at golf because you can't play football, you can't play soccer, you can't play. It's because you can't play anything else. And so he and Taft had this thing where it's like, but Taft loved to play golf.
Interesting. I didn't know
Taft
that.
is the president who was touted as the heaviest, fattest, as you would say, United States president. And yes, the story of him getting stuck in the White House bathtub is true. It did take 6 people to haul him out of the White House bathtub. He was probably fatter than he's shown here. But he was definitely here. He definitely followed the sport. And then later, Woodrow Wilson, huge golfer, and his wife, Edith Wilson, huge golfer. So this actually happened. This wasn't just to shoehorn in history. As a huge fan of Teddy Roosevelt, the chapter of the book that kind of leads up to this and, talks about what Teddy Roosevelt did. It's one of the best biographies of Teddy Roosevelt I've ever read is this one chapter of this book. Mark Frost obviously has the same admiration for Teddy as I had and summed up his career incredibly well. And, kind of rounding out America, like as a civilization, as you develop from, maybe if you're born of war and then, you're building up your nation, you're creating industry, getting good at something. And then when your people are prosperous, that's when leisure time comes in. And your society is at a good place when you have things like sports. So even today, people who complain that this is the worst time to live in the history of the world, as long as you have a leisure sport or a game on your phone or whatever, you're living in the best time in history, because leisure is when you don't have anything more important to do. And that's what this scene really represents. It's like America's coming of age. And now we even have a little bit of time to breathe. Unfortunately, the next year is going to bring a massive war around the world.
But Taft wasn't in office when the war happened, was he?
No, it was Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
So this was before. Yeah. So he's not president anymore here, by the way. Sorry, I'm going out of order.
Yeah.
But he was after Teddy Roosevelt, before Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
But he's probably Chief Justice of the Supreme Court at this time, because he's the only president to move from president to Chief Justice, but you still keep the title president throughout your life. So thank you for that little, very, very short historical interlude here. But I was really glad that this scene was here, because this really happened.
There we go. And I'm going to let everybody, the 2 prime ministers of the Second World War. No, First World War. Sorry.
Oh, First World War. Oh. Sorry, I know my Second
World
War.
Couldn't tell you.
Well, one literally is David Lloyd George, he was known for creating kind of the inspiration for the Royal Air Force. He came in 1916, but they were not the Liberal Democrats. They're known as the Liberal Party. That ousted, they lost, they kind of split up after the problems with things. But I think it's H.H. Asquel. I can't remember how to say it, but very posh person was before that. So we had 2 prime ministers. There we go.
Yeah,
Little bit of
Wilson
knowledge.
won. I have to say this, like, this was like when we talk about wild presidential elections, Wilson won because Teddy Roosevelt split what was the Republican Party into like his Progressive Party and then another party. And he got more votes than the other Republican by far, who was Taft, but Wilson, because he split the party and it was now 3 parties, Wilson won, but Wilson didn't get the majority of the popular vote. But you know, knowing how important he was to American history, good thing that Woodrow Wilson was president at that time. And we could, you know, I'll stop now. Stop it now.
History with Sandy.
It is a great time. This is a great period of history until the next year. Then 1914, everything changes.
But yeah, so we get this is round 1, isn't it? So this is round 1.
Yes, this is the first round.
I do like how it went back, like did this as like to show the scores, like so we getting the scores, updated scores. I do like that. Is Boston Mail still a thing? I'm guessing.
Not that I'm aware of. It's Boston Globe and Boston Herald are the 2 big ones.
Okay.
I don't know if the Mail turned into the Globe or something. Or I don't know the origins of the Globe or the Herald. I know the Red Sox owners own the Globe, so you'll never see a bad Red Sox article in there. But outside of that, I don't know the. I don't know the actual. Oh yeah, you know, Henry owns the Globe. So yeah, there's no bias reporting there when it comes to Red Sox. No,
so
every
Jay,
deal they make is good.
Like, what was your? Is that Copley Square? Like, where is, because Boston has Boston Common. Like, what is the center of the business district in Boston?
It's kind of the thing. It's such a weirdly set up city that there's
dispersed.
there's not really like a central part that I can think of where like news would really be. Just maybe the old Custom House in that area, which is right near Faneuil Hall, which is kind of the center of the financial district. Maybe somewhere around there, I would take a guess. I couldn't see it in like more towards the Back Bay area or anything that way. I would say maybe probably around the old Custom State House. That
makes sense, because like shopping kind of grew up around there too, right? Because today Faneuil Hall that's where you go to shop.
Yeah, you've got Faneuil Hall shopping there and all the stuff, and then just like few blocks away is the downtown shopping district and all that. So yeah, I would say somewhere in that chunk.
I like this scene. I do like this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we get what we've spoke about. We get the shots,
craziest shot of all time.
And it's Elias like,
and his little. I love this actor's portrayal of Ted.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is anything like Ted Ray really was, but I love the way that this actor plays him. He's got such limited lines, such a small role in terms of screen time, but does play a big part in the whole story of Francis Ouimet. But this guy just does such a good job. His little remarks after the shots, like under his breath, just to himself, they get me every time. He's just does a good job with it.
And I must say, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, by the way, they as you kind of can see just a little bit by the little looks they give him, they were both really impressed by him.
Mm-hmm.
Like they couldn't not like Francis.
Well, he represents a little bit of them. They're both just Jersey guys who came from very little and made this for themselves. So I love how they appreciate that. They are both very likable characters, which is what I like so much about this movie, where the main competition actually takes place between the 3 of them. None of them are enemies. They're just good, good golfers, seemingly good guys who happen to be up against one another. That's just it.
But that's it. But also I love it. But I say, like, you want to play against the best, and they've got there and they're like, who's this? He's actually
who's this guy? He's not on our radar.
Like, yeah. So it'd be good, like, we've got a fight going on here. So it's it's good for that. Yeah, but we get the things, and of course,
back to Sarah.
Yeah.
You could skip over that. Not much.
Yeah, literally, a lucky something lucky.
The lucky horseshoe or
Yeah.
something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Pin or brooch, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know what it was.
I
Doesn't
know.
matter.
Yeah,
Didn't
good
exist.
luck.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. So, but yeah, the first round, I like this one when he's like, "Oh, I'm next to Harry." It's like kind of realization that he's like, "Oh my, I'm in the clubhouse.
What am I doing? Like, what am I actually doing?"
But
It's one thing when
I,
you're out there on the course by yourself, and obviously not yourself, there's crowd, but like when you're just playing the game and Harry's not next to you, you're just thinking of your game. You think it's golf. It's another round of golf. Once you
and I would have liked a bit more
interaction,
interaction, like Harry, because he's way older than him. Is when he goes, "Oh, it was just luck." It's just to have that when he said that to just go, "No, like it's not luck. You've got something, kid."
Just reaffirm
like something like just give him a bit of a dump up, because still Harry's he's just being he's a nice guy. To then just to give that just be nice, like that. But it's a scene that could have been really good between them, but unfortunately it missed out. But so he goes back, and then again the dad, like as you say, he turns into the bad guy. They're all talking about you. It's like, oh
and it's like this. I mean, not for nothing. At this point, I get it. Even if you don't agree with what your son's doing, so be it.
Yeah.
But he just, like, the president just watched them swing a golf club. Like, that's a pretty, you've got to have some pride for that, man. It's like they're just making him too cold and too callous to what his kid's doing right now. Like, they take that side of his kind of role in this story too far, in my opinion. Not too far in like, oh, it's just too far and you told the story the wrong way type of way. Like, you went too deep into him just having blind, disagreement with his son on what his son's goals are. You should have either given us some more insight into what his issues for disagreeing with it is, or at least in this scene soften it a bit where you're like, all right, somehow get a point across of, okay, that was impressive that you're there, but like, I'm really still worried, or that the president was there watching you, but I'm still really worried that what you're doing is the wrong choice, blah, blah, blah. I'm worried about what happens if it fails. I'm worried about how you pick yourself back up if these people don't accept you, if you win, even. Like, maybe that's the worst thing, the even worse side of what he's fearful of, that you win and you're still not accepted, and how that's going to crush you. There's just so much more you could have told me about this character and his relationship with his kid that I just think they went the wrong way with it.
Yeah, it just falls flat because you just need to build it up. But from that, of course, we get the next day, it's raining. So so we got I did look it up. There apparently the last day actually when they did the thing was
Oh, sorry, I did, my ADD just popped in, so the thought came into my head. Did we pass Ted punching the third?
I didn't take it. Sorry,
I was going to say, I believe he plays in the rain with his black eye and his broken nose.
It's just like they go to dinner, don't they? And he's just like, he's okay what he says until he brings up Jersey.
So essentially he's just talking about like, oh, these Yanks, they're, the Yank women, they believe anything, and these Yanks are, just a different class. He turns to Ted and says, actually, Ted, you should probably feel like you belong here. There's amongst the unwashed, or whatever he says. And then he brings up Jersey, insults Jersey, and Ted just clocks him one.
You're going to ask me if that was a true thing or not?
Oh, yeah. Was it true?
What do you think?
I feel like it was. I feel like it was.
100%.
Yeah.
I was going to say
that makes sense. It makes sense.
He did. He punched him. However, they did tweak it a little bit. Maybe because it's a Disney movie, but he punched him twice. he pounded him in real life, and the news report was, he punched him twice in the face and drew blood.
Yeah, fair enough. And I love, first of all, I don't think I've mentioned this yet. I think the guy, I can't remember his name at the moment, but the guy who plays Harry, Stannis Baratheon, I think he's a really good actor.
He's really good.
Yeah, I think he's great. So I love the way he plays Harry in this, just calm, cool, collective. We'll see later on how focused he is as well, with a cool little scene they do with like the crowd's heads all looking towards the ball and him staying locked on Francis. I think he plays him great. And I love his little line afterward of when the guy asks, like, oh, does be honest with me, Harry. Does it look bad? And he's like,
frankly,
frankly, I
yeah.
think it's an improvement. And
It
he
was
just
great.
just
puts
gets
his
up,
napkin down and walks
Yeah.
away. Oh man,
Yeah.
he kills it in that. I love it.
It's a good little scene. It's a good little
Yeah,
scene.
it is.
Like,
It is.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah,
It just makes you love the other two, main golfers that much more.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like you don't dislike the main three, I suppose. It's like that. But yeah, so we got the rain, and Eddie. It's like
God
I love
bless.
it. Yeah, a little. No, I was more surprised. Like this kid, he actually acted really well, but I never seen again.
Oh,
Anybody see him? Like,
Okay,
you see,
so
like,
I
no?
was thinking this actual last time I watched
Yeah.
this. I couldn't remember if he was
Okay.
the same kid who ended up playing Ace Ventura in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective Jr.
Oh, I've
And
not
that was a
seen
movie that got panned for being horrible.
Oh.
He looks similar to that kid, so I'm gonna actually look it up now
Oh,
just so I
oh,
know
yeah.
for sure.
his name is it Josh? What?
Let me see here because I remember that
Josh
movie getting
Flitter.
crushed as awful. It was that one and Son of the Mask were two
Never.
back when I was a kid that came out.
Oh,
That
Son of the Mask. Yeah,
crushed
I
for
remember.
being
I remember
awful.
that, but I don't remember the other one. Jeez.
Yes, it was Ace Ventura. It might have been like a straight to Nickelodeon
Yeah.
TV type of movie.
Ah,
Like,
okay.
I don't even think it was in theaters. Sorry, Sandy. What was his name?
It's
I'm not seeing it
it's
now.
hard to Josh Flitter, Flitter, and it looks like he's in a lot of those kind of Nickelodeon type.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Josh Flitter.
It's not. Oh,
He was in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Okay, I think this might have been the same kid. If
And I'm
if
sorry,
it
which
is,
one
I'm
did you
not
say? Ace
seeing
Ven-
it.
Yeah, he
Pet
is.
Detective
He
Jr.
is
Is it
Oh my God,
him?
there you
He's
go.
Ace
Okay,
Jr.
so that kind of makes a little bit more sense. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm seeing it now. 2009.
So they were
That
like,
might
you're-
make it. It was a 2.1 on IMDb. Not great.
Ooh,
Not that you can
yeah.
take that for everything, but
He
it's
was
not a good
good
sign.
in this.
No,
Was
he was
good
great.
in
I thought
this.
he was
good,
great
yeah.
in this.
I thought he
And
was,
then I
yeah.
think he kind of did that movie, and I think that unfortunately hurt the kid's career.
Mm.
And I remember it getting just trashed as really, really bad and hard to watch. So, but I mean, again, it was a friggin' Nickelodeon direct-to-TV movie. What were people expecting? I think you should have judged them too hard for that.
Mm.
But yeah, so sorry. That's the story of that
That's
actor,
right.
I guess.
No, yeah. So we get our rain day where it doesn't go well for anybody really, does it? So it's smashing clubs over their knees. But lucky enough, this is the scene just before he gives Francis the pep talk. It's us or them, kind of things like that. So there must be like at the point they don't really go through this. I brought the scoreboards up here because we can see the top three, but I don't really give the scoreboards like of the big gap between them. So yeah. I don't know if it's but yeah, the only person actually doing an okay round seems to be Francis. And I'm guessing they don't play on it. It would have made sense him going and goes, I've played in these conditions at this here before because he lives there. It would have made sense is why he, kept in with the up there with everybody else, where everybody else is like
I more so took it as just the home course advantage in general.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just,
yeah.
even if he hasn't played in this kind of weather before, more so just if you're going to add this kind of weather to a golf course, you might as well add it to one I know like the back of my hand. I'm going to already have an advantage.
But yeah, so the other, they like the Boston Yank, let's whatever you want to call him, and the posh English twat, they are falling down. They fall away, don't they? Really?
Whoa! He's a Philadelphia Yank. Don't put that guy. Don't stick him with me.
East Coast, then. There we go.
Yeah. All right. We all got a little bit like this on the East Coast. I'll give you that.
Yeah. But yeah. So the round, everybody, is in trouble. We get to the next really day. This is all now. We're playing golf. We're playing golf like that. But we do get some good seasons. Where we get their mindset kind of in the things like I like that
a cool
how
visual
they did
effect.
This. Yeah,
I like that a lot.
The movies just, especially the golf course stuff. I think they do a great job. Like I know I keep gushing about it with the cinematography of just the people work of getting through scenes at the houses or whatever it may be. I think is really well done. The one shots, yada yada. I know I've said that, but man, the stuff on the golf course just is really impressive for the time. It looks great. Looks great, and it just gets the feel of golf across.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. So he's unfortunately everybody's watching. What would you play, Jay? What would you play?
Oh God, I don't think it would matter. To be honest, I would get my 52. I'd try to chunk for the sand if I could see it through the water. Otherwise, I'd just be aiming about half an inch behind the ball and hope for the best. Cross my toes.
Because he throws the ball back because
yeah.
he was thinking he would have to drop it like that. So yeah, it's and
I love how he lights the little pipe on this scene.
pipe,
This is where like it's and then the conversation he'll have with Ted afterwards about it, because who hasn't been on a golf course and it's like, oh, you know, cracked a beer on the 5th hole. I'm playing better. And it's like, oh man, I wish I cracked that beer 3 holes ago. You know, I've heard it. I've been there. It's a common thing for golf. So I love that little line.
Yeah, but yeah, he's everybody's in the thing. He's got no hope, and he pulls out a great shot. So yeah, he's still in it. But unfortunately, who's not in it?
Honestly, fortunately, this guy is so unlikable. Nothing better than seeing him crumble to the ground after he loses.
But I say, like, there's not enough. There's not enough of him to make him.
Yeah, the bit that they did put in was at least enough to get the point across that he was. There definitely wasn't enough, but they made him just enough, like just unlikable enough to have this payoff. Yeah. Oh, also, actually, one thing with him we skipped over. It's a small little thing, but love it. Love the kind of how they frame Vardon as just a master at what he does. The trick with the golf club, where they're both about to tee off, take their shot.
Oh,
Vardon, he's got his club that he thinks he should use for the shot, which is what he probably should. Vardon's holding a driver or a fairway wood or something that's a little... No, excuse me. He takes out what looks to be an iron where he originally had a fairway wood. He then switches because what Harry has, because it's that little, little peacocking. You think you can reach it with that club? Then I can reach it with that club, even though it's a shorter club and you shouldn't. And then as soon as he hits the shot, Harry swaps back to the proper club, and that whole he plays a mental game with this guy, just absolutely cooks him by the end of it.
Yeah. And then we get back to the, he shanks it, doesn't he, at this bit? So Francis, he shanks his thing because everybody's, they're watching me now because he's still in contention. So like that, but he completely shanks it, and then the Eddie's kind of like, again, whilst they're walking to the next one, he kind of he's telling him, calming him down because like everybody's looking at him. It's but I do like.
I think this is the scene that I love too, because it just shows Harry's focus of Francis hits the shot. Every head goes to follow the shot like it always does in a golf tournament, except Harry. He is laser focused on Francis because it doesn't matter how good the shot is. I want to know what Francis is actually made of, because anybody can get lucky and hit a beautiful shot. He cares more about who is this guy that's making this noise? What is he made of?
Yeah, so that's it. So we got all the report. Everybody's now interested in Francis because he's reaching to tie for
the playoff
for the playoffs. So
this historically happens on hole 17, the hole because this is where he hits the birdie. That essentially sends it to the playoffs. And this is very famously the hole that he birdied, which is the hole that he lived right across from his whole life.
Is that actually true, Sandy?
Absolutely.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, so
kind of
he
like
gets
fate, you've been looking at this your whole life.
I'm sure you've snuck on the golf course late at night and hit some balls on that hole and all that.
So now we're at I'm guessing they changed the rules later, but now we're on to a 3-way playoff tie, 18 holes. So they don't do that now.
They do playoffs, but I don't believe it's the 18 holes. I thought it was shorter. I think
they do the well, it depends what.
Is it like a 3-hole playoff? Or
it's just a 3-hole
something
playoff.
Much shorter. Right.
Yeah, 3-hole, and then they start back to the back 9.
Right.
No, they do that until somebody leads off kind of for the win. But so he gets it, of course, and then she tries to tell her husband, give him some encouragement, literally, isn't it?
Something,
Really,
dude.
something. Like, yeah, she's like, everybody's talking about him, and he's still like, nope, not at all. I don't care what. But yeah, things. Yeah,
It's just too stubborn. Like at some point, you have to crack from that and be like, all right, dude, you might actually do this. Like you could really pull this off. Like they just play him too rigid, too cold, too stubborn, too many things that are just antagonistic towards Francis.
Well, it's even like the next day, it's like E's moment. He just
like you're going off for the playoffs of the U.S. Open. You have no business even being there, and that's what you give him.
It's just like something. Yeah,
they take the kind of shtick with this character too far, in my opinion, in terms of how long they keep it going. Not too far that he crosses any lines morally or anything. Just you kept it going too long. You should have had him crack a little bit earlier than the final payoff.
Yes, exactly. So we get that, and then they have to draw the straws, of course, to see who hits first. Really, Francis is the unlucky one, really. So he's taking that. So we just get kind of like the final round.
We did miss one thing that I'm bringing it up just because it's on my visual cues here, and I'm glad I just saw it. When they try the kind of I believe it's actually Sarah's father. And one of the guys who originally didn't want to let him into that amateur tournament in the beginning of the movie, they speak to Eddie, and they want to try to get Francis a real caddy, what they call, quote unquote, a real caddy for this tournament, final playoff. And, they find out because they call Francis to the clubhouse right before the round. They all meet up there. And, Eddie looks pretty, sad, like something.
Don't talk to my caddy.
Right. And these guys basically tell Francis, like, come on, man, you got to get a real caddy. Like, this is the final. This is the playoffs. This is the U.S. Open. And Francis is basically like, we've made it this far. Like, I don't need a different caddy now. And obviously he's got an attachment to Eddie since he knows him personally and his older brother. So long story short, they try to get Francis to switch caddies. He says no, obviously reassures Eddie that he'll remain his caddy till this is over. And on the way out, like Stasis just said, gives that. I mean, I think it's a good delivery by Shia in terms of like it's stern. It's not kind of out of his character to try to be too threatening or some big tough guy. Yeah. But it's a very stern, don't ever talk to my caddy again, and this will be the last we ever talk about it type of thing. I think he delivers it very well.
So from that, we again probably the last 30 minutes is golf. It's just
getting through the round.
Golf. Yeah, so we're just getting
it is good if you're watching it. It's not much for us to talk too much about. Yeah. So I don't want to say that as if like this is a boring part. It's it's great to watch, but it's all visual. You kind of just gotta watch
it is. And we got this bit now. I'm guessing I don't know the rules for 1913. I'm guessing they didn't pick up their.
I guess no ball markers.
I guess not. Unlucky.
Literally play it as it lies.
Now, girlfriend thought Jade thought he meant to do it, and I was like, that would have had to be an awesome shot to like block him. But I was like, I don't think he did, because what would have been the point? He would have tried to get it in, because then it would have been one shot.
Isn't this the part though where
and he chips it? It's like,
because didn't him and Ted have a little conversation about this? Because I've always taken it as Harry puts it in place to kind of secure that, at least, because they say an all English final, I believe at this point. So this is, even if I if we at least one of us blocks him out here, at that point, Britain's taking home, the US Open Cup, because one of us has to win if we keep him out of it. So I do think it's purposeful. I don't know if it's accurate or true, but I also took it as he did it on purpose. Now, it would take an insane amount of skill and luck to put it
to get it
don't get me wrong, but
why would you try and get it? Just it's about
this is. I think that's Disney being Disney. I am curious, though, Sandy. Is there any truth to that?
I don't think so. I don't. I don't remember it in the book. I don't remember.
I know the scores and how it was ended is completely wrong. Except for Ted, he does fall away very quickly, but so did Harry.
So did Harry.
It pretty much gets wrapped up on 17.
Yep. And it's a runaway. He's ahead by 5 and 6 at that point.
Right.
So
the weather was worse on this day than the day before.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
So apparently it was really, it was
middle of a nor'easter.
really bad. Yeah. So, But yeah, we get like that, and yeah, it's just we're having a good game of golf. Really, it's like quite intense. I do like how it's shot there to give you a bit of what's going on. You know what's going to happen, and you know what's going to happen.
But they still build that tension.
Yeah, they
do.
It's still going to get like that, and of course, get like their shots. And again, it's when Francis loses his confidence slightly now and again. It's just Eddie's little one-liners. Just literally, it's great. So. We get all that, of course. Yeah, we're playing golf. We're playing golf now. We get like that, but then we get that one moment where, in the movie, not in real life, is Harry does this one shot, and it's on the edge. Now I know in nowadays golf you can wait 2 minutes.
You can wait a good bit if it's even slightly moving. I've seen some long ones.
Yeah. There might be a gust of wind like that. I would jump to that thing. I'm making that move.
Take a deep breath.
Say that gust of wind might go the wrong way.
I always thought.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
So I always thought like this shot it shows quite well. I wonder if the greens were this good in 1930.
I am curious. They'd have a little
question.
They have one transitional scene of a bunch of guys with the old push mowers and all that kind of in a line going. So like they have one transition between one of the rounds where they show that. So obviously the course is kept in great condition, but I am curious, did you really get it like to a carpet like this? Like this? You need the rollers, you need a lot to get these greens that
like I'm not gonna the technology on like for gardeners and all that have grown so much, but like it's blatantly a course, but it's it does it's
and then did we pass the shot over the trees? I think that came before this because this is the winning one.
Oh yeah,
not a big deal or anything, but just one little thing that's a factual.
Oh, when he doesn't.
So when Harry, chat, if you've seen the movie, obviously Pirate Film Club, I'm sure you have. But the scene where Harry clips the trees or cuts the trees rather, and decides he's going to go over the trees to shorten the hole, and that way he'll have a good look at it. Blah blah blah. When Eddie then stops, it's almost another trick. Eddie calls it out. He stops Francis from doing the same thing because Francis is about to try it as well. And Eddie reminds him that there's a bunker over there. There's a bunker you can land in, and we don't know that he's over it. You're better off taking this shot. So he does. Turns out Harry's in the bunker. Apparently that actually is true. And that bunker is still there today, known very, lovingly as, I believe, Vardon's bunker. I think it's not Harry. I believe it's Vardon's bunker, not Harry's bunker. I believe they still call it Vardon's bunker, somewhat notoriously. That was the only reason I wanted to bring it up. It's not a huge part of the story. I just thought that was a cool bit of
awesome.
Cool bit of history. Cool. The bunker looks exactly the same. Did they shoot this on the actual course? I'm curious.
No, because there was a dog leg right, and in the real life, it was a dog leg left.
Oh, I've never looked that up. Well, they got that bunker. They got the bunker to look very similar. So kudos to them on that.
This was shot in Canada at. I'm gonna get this right here. It's not. I'm gonna say the wrong thing if I don't look at it. Kanawake club in Quebec.
Oh, Quebec. Okay.
Kanawake.
Oh, yeah. But so we get that. Like, doesn't he? So Ted has he kind of he's out because in this. He has the same shot. He kind of in the woods, doesn't he? And he hits the tree this time. And then he kind of he knows he's gone. So that happens, but we get that, and but we get really down to the wire, really, of the last again. It's you have to do it, and I understand that. For if they did it, it's not going to be a they're so far behind, you've already won, but we got to end the hole. like it's not going to work. So of course,
movie magic.
Movie magic. He needs to.
And I do love. I'm sorry, I keep going backwards because I just keep thinking of things I love about. This is the problem when I've seen a movie this many times. I love that reporter there, Darwin, I think his name is.
Yeah,
I love that scene a little earlier from this when it's kind of becoming evident that Francis can actually do it. when they're passing or walking next to each other, and he just kind of gives him a little like, "You can do it, Francis." And when Francis asks, like, "What? What'd you say?" He's like, "Oh, nothing at all." I
He's
love
not
that
supposed
idea
to.
that
He's not
right.
supposed to be partial.
And
Yeah.
that's what I love about him is that, like, you know, he's not supposed to be partial. And if anything, he should be taking a better interest in England, Britain, bringing home the title here. So that little bit of, yeah, I know I should be with these two guys and I know I should be rooting for them to win, but I'm a fan of this game. I love this game, and the better story is you winning, and you can actually pull this off. And that's what matters more.
But the story is
right.
the underdog
and that
is going to sell newspapers.
That too, right? Yeah. It's a part of a love for the game, and definitely a part of a love for having a great article in newspaper.
What's the better story? The greatest player of their time won it again, or an underdog?
Right? Yeah. It is that underdog story will always be a better story, and I just always love that. Look, it's a little bit from him. You don't see too much of him other than his enthusiasm for golf in the game, but that little added bit of, I'm going to even maybe just not root for my countrymen or however you want to call it, my the guys that I should be rooting for based off where I'm from. I'm going to pull for this guy because it's the better story for the sport. It's the better story for everybody, and it's the better story to sell a paper.
So since we're talking about Bernard Darwin, he's probably one of the other famous people from this film that most folks outside of golf probably haven't heard from. He is regarded as the most famous golf writer, and he actually is credited with promoting golf around the world.
Interesting.
Because he wrote about it. He's a grandson of Charles Darwin, which is how I keep remembering his name, because
go figure.
But his granddad was Charles Darwin. And no, he's not rooting for his countrymen because he is British. He came over for this tournament. He would travel the world to cover golf. He was graduated from Eton, very, very upper crust, and probably looked down upon for being a sports writer, right? So again, the sport itself, for the upper set, you're writing about it, so you're making it appealable to the masses. So he was looked down upon, but he was also made a commander of the British Empire. So he is Bernard, or probably Bernard Richard Marion Darwin, CBE. And he lived to about 90. He died in 1961. So he lived quite an old day and wrote several books. And the one that he's famous for is Bernard Darwin on Golf. So anyway, quite a famous person in the history of the sport.
I did not know that. I honestly did. I didn't even realize that he was an actual person. I kind of just thought, report a character made for the movie. That is very interesting.
So he would have served in the First World War and probably been in the Home Guard somewhere in the Second.
Might have been. Might have been. We're going to talk a little bit about the First War, but I'll wait a minute.
Action. So we have now Disney magic, Disney movie magic. The last part of the last hole is down in the movie. They're both on even. So this is to hole it. Of course, the noise happened. His mum's turned up. He has a moment, goes to putt it, pulls back, and what does he say?
Read it, roll it, and hole it.
Yeah, that's
if only it were that simple, Eddie. If only it were that simple.
You're like, Gits, you do it then.
Literally.
So
however, I did actually hit about a 40-foot putt yesterday that I was really impressed with myself. So I'll put that little feather in my cap. Not quite winning the US Open, but it's up there.
Woohoo! Congratulations.
Yeah. The next shot was awful, though. The next shot.
Oh God! No, the next tee shot was actually really good. It was the next iron shot following that tee shot. That was a humbling experience.
So of course it goes in, and the crowd goes wild. So he gets put up on the things, and I'm guessing the money they're all giving is for the caddy. He says this is for Eddie.
I think more so just for the winner, especially knowing that amateurs don't get paid.
They were trying to give him money, but if he accepted, then he would no longer be an amateur. And sometimes that was how you broke into the pro ranks, is you win something and then you accept the money, now you're a pro. He wanted to stay amateur, so that's why it was very vocal. He was vocal. But I do just want to say something though, kind of going back when I think it was when he tied, and you see his mom in the kitchen. That roar of that one roar of the crowd that is
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
loud. I love that. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
just because that's how she knew. That's how you knew,
Mhm.
because all the other cheers that she heard, okay, wow, wow, but that one, that was thunderous.
It-
And she knew that was her son. And I love that scene.
Mhm. And I just love her charging over because she knows like this
Yep.
is it. Because the whole time, the whole other rest of the movie, she's just doing her work and doing what she needs to do and just trying not to be, because it's most. I think it's more so just like a nervous mom, like, oh my god, I'm so anxious. I want him to do well, but I don't want to go, give bad luck or whatever it might be. So she stays away. But that moment, she's like, no, it's happening. I have to be there. I do love that scene as well.
It also it does. You're so right about the character, the portrayal of the dad, because yes, in the book he didn't want him to play golf. Yes, he wanted him to earn money. He wanted to be a businessman. He wasn't this, I don't know, stubborn about it. But as a parent, when your kid does something awesome, you know how that makes you feel,
Right.
and
Like
you
you'd
want them
crack.
to
You would have to
succeed,
crack.
and you want them to you want them to succeed because that's going to lead to more greatness.
Right.
And whether it's when they write their name for the first time, or tie their shoes for the first time, or whether they win a great big national hip hop tournament like my daughter did, against
congrats.
boys.
Now, I must say, I was
against
very
boys.
pleased. I was very pleased with my kid today when Jade said, "Do not shoot me with that water pistol." She walked off. He looked at me and then just went bang from like 20 meters away in the face or whatever. And I was just like, I
you
pitched
can't
myself.
even be
And I was
mad.
like,
Yeah,
that's
you
a
Perfect
shot.
name.
That was the shot. Like,
If you were gonna take one, you took the right one.
and then Mum didn't like it at all, but I was just like, I'm proud of you, son. That was a good shot.
but honestly, that is just such like a perfect microcosm of that type of thing where it's like,
Yeah.
even if your kid does something, you think, in your heart of hearts, you don't think it's the right choice for them because this, that reason or the other. In this case, it would just be your mom getting mad at you for it. But when they do it and they do it really well, you're still just kind of like, oh, damn, dude, that was impressive, man. Like, that was pretty impressive. So especially in a case like this, it doesn't make sense that the dad would be this stubborn and this stuck to it. You would at some point crack and just be like, oh man, dude, you're doing awesome, man. Like, I don't agree with this. And I hope what I think could go wrong doesn't go wrong, but hey, I'm all in now, man. It just feels too stubborn.
Yeah. And your kid met the president. Your kid's name's in the newspaper.
Like
this is also your name.
Right.
That's
We're not
the
just
other
talking
thing.
a spelling bee here. This is a big deal.
That's my boy, So
But
it's such a good little scene that we get here. Like, I like this. Like the tears in his eyes. Like you finally broke through on the guy. Like, I love the payoff of this scene. It's emotional. It's got some emotional impact to it. It could just have more.
Could have been great. It could have made you cry. It could have been a moment if you had that emotional bit. Think back. Oh,
like someone's at the door. Package.
Yeah. But yeah, just needed that. If they had that emotional connection, this would have been so epic. This would have been so. Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, it just doesn't pay off because you go, oh, he's there. That's great. Well done. And you're like, oh, I need to have that thing because it's shot really well because it's like you can hear the crowd. Everything's like really like going on with like Francis being pulled up, and then that moment when he just looks down and like here's a dollar. He's giving him a yeah. It's just it's great, and he just goes all silent because he's like, no, Freddie, Eddie, no, and then he just dad.
It's dad. So well done. It's well designed in terms of the script. It's well shot. It's well acted. The facial expression on his father just breaks right through you. It's like you said.
Another great mustache when we see him. Another great mustache.
It just could have been great if the rest of the movie helped this scene out more. And I think it's a sign of that is how good the scene still is, even though the rest of the movie kind of messed up this storyline. It still pulls off a great, payoff in the end. It's just, man, you could have got, like you said, you could have got a couple tears out of people if you just kind of played it a little bit better to get here.
You could have just got dad.
Yeah, like everybody be calling their dads after this. Dad, I love you, man.
I know.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
you could have had that. You still got a good
It's-
scene, and I'll give you
Yeah.
guys that. Man, you could have had a really, really, really memorable one.
You could have had a really tear jerk up. You
Mhm.
could have had really. Oh, that's got me. That
Mhm.
got me there. But yeah, unfortunately not. But yeah, so he wins the U.S. Open. Yeah. And then whilst he's getting changed after winning it, yeah, this scene annoyed me because it could have been a brilliant
Yeah.
send off to the movie, because Harry comes in and he's nice about it. It was, like, it's a good game. He's been very professional, been really being a lot honest, good game. We should do it again sometime, like that. And yeah, Francis is nice back. It's a sweet scene, but
Mhm.
there just could have been wisdom there from
No, I
somebody,
agree.
an aging sportsman who
Mhm.
just going, kid, you've got something. Just some little bit of just a little bit. Again, I keep saying that because it's just like this movie again with the dad, and then with Harry and Francis,
And even the mom.
Yeah.
I think one of my major flaws with the movie is how many good things they touched upon and still did good with them, but just didn't flesh out to make them great like they could have been. I think between there should have been a little bit more camaraderie or mentorship or whatever it is, a little more interaction with these two. You could have touched on the parents individually, their stories and their relationship with Francis more. Hell, I could have taken more of the Francis and Eddie relationship outside of just the quips and the funny stuff and all that, and just the vote of confidence or the voice of confidence. There's so much that they did so well in this, or did like things they touched on, like, oh, that was good. Could have been great. Could have been great if you just did it this much differently. And that's, to me, and I get it. It's a short-ish runtime. It's like 2 hours even. It's not short. It's not long. I could have taken maybe a few more minutes on this one just to flesh those things out a little bit. Maybe take some of Sarah out, if not all of Sarah out, give that to somebody.
Take her all out.
And then give me like maybe 10, 15 more minutes of just touching on a little bit more scene, like little longer scenes with Harry and Francis, or a little more about the father, a little more about the mother, just little bits more of everything to kind of even it out to maybe 2 hours, 10 minutes, 2 hours, 15. Get rid of the stuff you didn't need and just a little bit extra of the stuff that I think you could have made great.
Yeah. But yeah, so we get that. It's could have been more. And then we get the walk away with
a nice little walk
with Eddie. Yeah. And then we get like
I'll tell you, that looks like fall in New England if I've ever seen it. So they got that right, even though they shot up in Canada. That very much looks like it.
But yeah, so now we get Disney love doing this at this time. We have a little bit of a
the true results.
We told you it was real life, so we make sure that you know. So following the years, Harry Vardon won 6 British championships. I don't know why they call it championships. It would have been the Open, just the Open. But I'm guessing, But I actually, when we'll go into it, so he's considered one of the greatest English players of all time.
Should that be British then, right?
Yeah, British.
That
should
would
be
count.
British. Yeah, British. Yeah. Then Francis, how do you pronounce his? Ouimet. Yeah, is he became. Did that actually happen? An ambassador?
Yeah. Yep.
No, the ambassador. Yeah, okay. But
for the amateurs, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then of course, this is the best bit. I was
100%.
like, wow.
I did not see that coming the first time. I'm like,
do you know what he did to become a Milton?
No, I've actually
second-hand salesman in San Francisco on car dealership.
Really?
Cars. He was like the used car king of California.
No kidding.
I was like, oh my god,
What
I want to know this kid. I want a movie.
But I'll tell you though,
a movie for this
not
guy?
for nothing. Knowing that the character that we saw on screen was similar to the character to the actual real life person.
Yeah.
You got a car salesman vibe to your kid. I could
100%.
get that. You got a bit of a car salesman. I could see it.
And then of course, they became friends. But
oh
my god, this bit, I was like, I need to do research now. Like that.
I always forget to look it up. That's the first I found out.
I was like, oh my god, there's your movie. There's your movie.
The greatest game ever played.
Literally, I was like, that is interesting. Like how we got that. then and he was like a sponsor. He did some really dodgy dealings, and I was like, but that is like, you know,
which also kind of seems like it would make sense. I mean,
and they're like,
car
yeah, he's
dealership,
like sponsorship dodgy, like there was some bribery accusations, like some like golfing tournaments that went certain ways because he had you know, sponsored certain players. It's just like, it was great. I was like, this guy's, that story of Eddie, I was like, I want to see that. That is great. But yeah, like, oh, but let's say like this, I said, like, I thought I had watched it. I think this movie made me dive into all of them. Like, Harry, never heard of him, like that. What a player! In his generation, like
absolutely.
In real life, I was like that.
One of the greats.
Yeah, yeah, and I was like, how? Like Jay, you said, oh, we could do another 30 minutes. This should be a series.
Yeah, you could give me you could give me a movie on Harry Vardon in his life at this point.
Yeah,
I would
want to know more about Ted. I want to know
100%.
If you had a freeway, like kind of Ted, Harry, Francis, and Eddie, kind of like in Scotland, then we branch off and his own story. But if you had that, because they did so much, you can have this real, like, you know, like across the pond kind of story, like shot at the same time, and like it'd be great. It's just like that. So you need you can actually really develop, you know, the relationship with Francis with things, but you also could write, you know, the poverty like in Jersey, then moving to like England, and like he's like then his career taking off and all that, and then you got Ted's story as well, like how did they meet, like it's just like it really,
and that's
like
the thing, it's like they all have interesting
really
stories.
Really interesting, and they
it's not like it's like, oh, these are just
truth is better than fiction, aren't we?
Right.
Real history is more interesting than fiction. I think
and that's the thing, it's like they all have these interesting nothing to something kind of stories to tell. That's like, is there even like a really good I haven't looked, so I don't want to speak on it, but is there even like a really good documentary about these guys or this match, or like this story is the story of this round of golf or this tournament is amazing, honestly. But right, like that's what I mean. Like there should be some more attention or eyes on this story, because I don't think it's one a lot of people know, and it's a really fantastic story of sports, story of underdog, and three underdogs. Like for these three men to be this final of the US Open, especially at that time, that is insane. I mean, I know obviously Ted and Harry were well established as fantastic players and, you know, accepted to a degree amongst the kind of upper elite class, but still not quite. And they still come from the same backgrounds as Francis. So the fact that these three men are in this spot is a story in and of itself, and obviously the way the match played out is as a phenomenal story. But then just their backgrounds, how they got to be in that spot. There's so much interesting stuff within this little game of golf. It's one of the reasons I just love this movie. Oh, one of the many reasons, I should say. Oh, and fun fact: the winning hole was once again 17. He birdied 17 on the last day in that playoff to actually, you know, seal the deal with Vardy.
Yeah,
I keep saying Vardy because that's an old player I'm thinking of, with Harold Vardon. So he basically 2 days in a row birdied 1 to cause the playoffs on 17, and then 2 to win the playoffs on 17. The hole he lived across the street from his whole life to that point. So just talk about poetic ending. I mean, who says there's a line I love in Moneyball with Brad Pitt towards the end where he says something along the lines of, "How can you not be romantic about baseball?" And I say it all the time. How can you not be romantic about sports? There's just, the stories just write themselves in ways that are unimaginable sometimes. And this is a perfect example of it.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't mean to put that up so fast. I thought
there we go.
Have another
right on cue.
I'm learning that new function.
Oh, but you know that new way. Ooh.
Yeah, so it looks nicer. You don't get my background or anything. But we've
gone professional, people. We've gone professional. Sandy realized there was a different way to present.
The truth is better than fiction. History beats fiction. I love it, or at least is really interesting. And Jay, honestly, I would have never picked up a book about golf ever. But this is the book, The Greatest Game Ever Played, which is by Mark Frost. It was published in 2002, and that photo is the real
Mhm.
Francis Ouimet and Eddie Lowry. That is the difference in their heights. That's what they look like. I mean, kudos to Josh Flitter for playing that role. We already mentioned it was directed by Bill Paxton and released in 2006. And the folks who starred in it, we've all talked about. Stephen Marcus is the guy who plays Ted Ray, and I haven't looked him up. I don't know what else he's been in. Do we know what else he's been
I can
in?
take a
Let's
quick
see.
peek.
See if we can find
Their
what he's
top
been in.
billing on IMDb is very odd.
Oh, I think they're going at half. Like it is all starting to be in order of appearance and not
Yeah,
by.
like because
Yeah,
I'm
it's
seeing
weird.
some
Yeah,
guys
no,
as
yeah.
like black top hatted man who had
Yeah,
no relevance
Yeah.
really in the movie
it's
that
all
much
ending up
above
order of
Ted Ray.
appearance.
That's interesting.
Strange. But while you go there, it's going to automatically jump to share my next. So let us take a look at the numbers. Because unfortunately, sometimes films that are
Oh.
based on. Oh, go ahead. What
Oh,
was?
sorry, I just found Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He was in that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, just trying to see if anything
So
I
look
bet
at
he's
that.
a yeah,
relevant.
yeah.
Couple episodes.
I do
it looks
recognize
like,
him, but he's a
Always
very
Sunny.
He did
yeah,
seem
I
like,
think so.
you know, kind of your
a British. He's a very
prototypical
British.
big
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, it looks like he gets a lot of those
Yeah.
kind of roles, like just
Mm.
random, not
Have
super
to look,
great rated things. But
No.
have to look for him more frequently.
I thought he was great.
I
thought
did
he was great.
too. I did too. I don't think there was a bad performance. Like when you
No,
just look at
No.
I think
performance.
Sarah, I would say
Yeah,
Sarah
well, we
felt
just
a
don't
little
need
flat,
Sarah.
but I
Sarah.
wouldn't say awful, just a little flat. And maybe that's part of the storyline just falling flat for me too, to be honest. That might
Yeah,
not
I
be her
think
fault.
so. Well, this film was made for a budget of $25 million in 2006, which would be $40.7 million today. It only made $15.4 million at the box office, so it was a box office crash, which would be about $25 million today. It lost money. It was, however, nominated for an ESPY Award, which is the ESPN annual awards, for best sports film. But Glory Road, which was another Disney film about basketball, which I also have not watched, it won. The other top grossing Disney films for 2006 were Pirates of the Caribbean and Dead Man's Eye. I definitely saw that movie like multiple times in the theater. I love the Pirates movies.
I do as well.
And that was a good one. Eight Below, that was about the sled dogs, right?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say yeah. I was like, what is that?
Okay,
Like,
so
yeah.
immediately my mind just went to Snow Dogs with Cuba Gooding Jr., which I know isn't the same movie.
No.
Eight Below does
No.
also. I
Yeah.
think that you're right. I do remember
Yeah,
that
I
being
didn't.
Sled
Sledges, yeah.
Dogs.
Don't think I
type of
saw
movie.
that. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I saw that. And then the
Shaggy Dog.
remake, the dreadful. I think this is probably the second remake of the Shaggy Dog,
I've
which
never
I also
heard of it.
didn't see. But I'm happy to
What's
see
Shaggy
Pirates
Dog?
films.
Familiar, but I can't remember it much.
Is it that bad? What's Shaggy Dog? What is Shaggy Dog?
I don't know. I feel like I remember the name, the Shaggy Dog. I just can't remember
Is it an American
the
thing?
original.
Isn't
I
it a
don't know.
guy who
Might
turns
be.
into a dog? Or is that the Shaggy DA? I'm sorry,
don't
that's
know,
probably the
honestly.
Shaggy
Let me look it
DA.
up. I'm curious if I've seen this. Because this would have been the time, like if that's a kid's movie, I would have been a kid then. So it would have been
Oh
something I would have
God!
seen.
Ding ding ding!
Oh,
Where's the
sorry.
alarm?
Oh, with Tim Allen. Yes. Okay. I do remember
Yeah.
this. I do remember this. The Shaggy
Let's see,
Dog.
2000.
Never heard it.
Yeah,
Never heard
yeah,
it.
you were still a kid
Okay.
back then.
That makes sense.
Jeez Louise.
Oh, still a little baby.
I know. I was done with college by 2006.
Oh
Good
man, these
grief.
pictures are bringing it back. Yes, Charlotte from and Robert Downey Jr. was in this, and Charlotte from Sex and the City. I can't think of her actual name.
Oh, York, something. Is her
I
last
can't
name York?
remember.
Okay.
Brother.
All right,
Yeah.
just
Sorry,
before
I'm
we
looking
get-
at the pictures. That's why I didn't see. I couldn't
All right.
read her name. Let me see here.
Whilst I'm just going to
Kristen
end the
Davis.
poll. I'm just going to end the poll. So it was really, really simple.
Oh, no.
What tournament was it in?
Okay, sorry.
So
Go ahead.
27% the Quidditch Cup, with the winner, lucky enough, 45% the US Open.
Good job.
The Tiddlywinks World Cup is 9%, and the Pokemon League Conference 18%. At least you got it right. Don't know who
Chad
we do
always
have
gets
an
it right.
educated chat, you know,
yeah.
for the most part.
It was a bit of a simple quiz.
You never know.
But
I
that
wouldn't
makes
have
sense.
known before watching the film, for sure.
Knowing those numbers, it makes sense why I feel like it's always been such an unseen kind of good sports classic from that run of, you're talking Remember the Titans, Miracle, Radio, that kind of run of early 2000s sports stories, The Rookie, all those ones. This one was, I feel like, went under the radar quite a bit. Not a lot of people have seen this one as compared to how many have seen those.
I wonder if that does help, like the other ones have a major star. This really doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, when you start
True.
going through those, you're talking Denzel Washington. Radio would have had Cuba Gooding Jr. at the time, and Ed Harris. The Rookie, I believe, was Dennis Quaid, if I'm correct. Miracle had, God, what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? Kurt Russell was Miracle, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this was really just Shia LaBeouf and a couple British actors that I don't think were that big over here yet. At least I assume Stannis Baratheon's a British actor, right? I thought so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forget his real name at the moment, so he'll just be Stannis.
Stephen Dillane.
I believe he's a British actor. So yeah, I mean, it's really carried by Shia, who at this point wouldn't have done Transformers yet. I don't think either. This would have been his transition from Disney TV to a major motion picture.
Yeah. Now, I didn't realize he was a Disney kid. It kind of makes sense why he went weird.
I mean, they all do.
They all do.
So a lot of that, obviously, being a child star, that's always a tough life for these kids. Whether or not it's
Nickelodeon.
I would never want my parents. I would never want my kid to ever be anywhere near that kind of life. And Lord willing, he'll never have an interest in that kind of life, so I never have to deal with that. Because then at that point, I would be a little bit like Francis Ouimet's dad in this, be like, dude, I got to crush your dream for your own better good.
For real.
It's not good. You can't do that. But yeah, the Hollywood child star, I think, lifestyle, I think, is always brutal on these poor people. But again, I recommend that movie Honey Boy if you're ever looking for an interesting kind of random watch, because it tells you that, a lot of what happened with Shia too wasn't just from being a childhood star. It was family and unfortunate kind of people around him that just took advantage of a lot of that. So really sad story, but really, really good to see him kind of where he is now, where I last saw where he was, which I think he's turned his life around, found religion, that whole thing, and he's doing really well. Family, I believe he has a kid. That was a couple of years ago. I saw a podcast. He was on the John Bernthal podcast. It was a really good episode, actually. So that was last I had checked in on him, and sounded like everything was going really well. So I was happy to see that, because when you see that movie, you're kind of like, oh man, this kid might not have really had a chance during that point of his life. Just tough spot. But I think Shia LaBeouf's a good actor, man. I really do. I always have. And I think his antics have kind of, or, whatever the stuff he's gotten into, have kind of overshown that a bit too much in his career, unfortunately. I think the Transformer movies too, if that's what you think of when you think of Shia, they're not going to impress you. But I think a movie like this shows like he could act. He's a good actor.
You're overlooking one important black mark on his resume.
Indiana Jones.
Oh
Kingdom
God! I've actually never seen that. I've never seen that one. I don't intend.
It doesn't exist. That's why.
I've never seen that or the recent one, and I'm not going to. I just have no interest. But yeah, so there was that one. But that was part of the Hollywood push. They thought they found a new kind of it guy or a teen heartthrob, and they did the Hollywood push like they always do, and it came Transformers and the blockbusters and all that. But when he's not,
then he reenacted
he's a good actor.
But then he did that weird thing when he reenacted. Well, I think we spoke about that. There was an artist, wasn't she? Like, do whatever you want to me, and she got like,
oh God,
molested and like that, like a thing. And he did exactly the same thing. Like, I've been naked in a room.
Oh, he did one of those too. Oh,
yeah, geez, like literally put in a chair and like that. And he got.
Yeah, he had a very strange period. There was I don't know if you've ever seen the meme of him with like the long ponytail. Screaming to just do it. I'll have to show it to you in Discord. It was a bizarre thing he was doing that he got memed for.
He did a Britney Spears. Let's say that.
I think that's a good way to put it. He did a Britney.
A lot of that stuff, unfortunately, overshadows how good of an actor he is and can be. And I always tell people as much as I can, like, check out that Honey Boy movie, because it gives you a different perspective of what Shia, what might have made him become the way he was. I mean, people do a good job at reclaiming their life back from those crappy moments too, or those crappy periods. Like, look at Lindsay Lohan nowadays. She's seemingly doing well from what I can tell. She looks like she's, well and healthy and has a kid and all that and living a good life. And she had a rough run too. She was a Disney kid, I believe, like The Parent Trap and all that were Disney movies. So, you know, these people, when they become child actors, I just think you set yourself up for a lot of obstacles in life, and unfortunately they trip over a lot of them just based on that lifestyle. So I always appreciate when you see them you know, bounce back and reclaim, you know, a good life for themselves.
Excellent. Cool. Anyway, Jay, you
should I go first?
Movie. You go first. Yeah.
All right. Go. Keep in mind, everybody, I am biased. I do love this movie. You know, but for all the reasons I said throughout this episode, I won't, you know, try to go over too many of them, so I'm not repeating myself. But in case you're tuning in late, I just think it's a great story. I think it's a great story of sports, underdogs from all three accounts of the main finalists in the playoff. It's a story of, you know, classes, you know, the class system and what kind of effect that has on people, how it can drive some to be great, how it can crush the dreams of others. You know, the haves and the have-nots is always a tough thing to deal with in society. You know, whether we always think it's fair or not that some have and some don't, you know, that's besides the point. The reality is that is the case, and we all have to find our way within it. And this is a movie of that, people finding their way within it, sometimes to great accomplishment, sometimes to great accomplishment that still has just a little bit of failure or the feeling of failure in a case like Harry Vardon, who's couldn't be more accomplished, but couldn't get that one goal of acceptance ever complete. So those stories, I think, are just super interesting, you know, super motivating, super uplifting in a lot of ways to see them overcome, you know, things that are out of their control, like a class system, by just being good and working hard. I think one scene we actually passed over in the movie, which is one of my favorites, is when the, you know, English bureaucrat guy, Dr. Robotnik, we've been lovingly calling him, when he's kind of gloating with Harry and Ted about how it's wrapped up. This kid can't beat you guys. He doesn't even belong in this game. What family does he come from? And Harry snaps on him and just lets him know, like, listen, if we go out there and lose tomorrow, it's because the better person won, the most skilled, talented, hardest working person won. It does not matter who his father is, what wealth he comes from. If he beats us, it's because he's the best and nothing more. And I love that little scene because I think it encapsulates what I love so much about this movie. That messaging, that theme. And then on top of it, I think fundamentally really, really impressive movie for what it was at the time. Like, I can't imagine sinking $25 million into a budget for a sports movie was too big on Disney's tab, but I don't know what they were really doing, like what it cost them to do other ones like Miracle and all that. So I could be wrong in terms of the investment, but just in terms of being a kind of a random Disney sports story about something that's not really all that well known in sports, it's got such good qualities. The color palette, like to the little things, the color palette choice, I think, is brilliant in this. It makes the greens and the course look beautiful. The costume design, I think, is great. The acting, I think, is really great across the board, or really good across the board with a little bit of greatness sometimes. You know, the like I've gushed about, the cinematography, the camera work, the effects mixed with the camera work, I think looks really good at some points, although sometimes not so great in others. The score even is something we haven't really talked about, but the score, it's not crazy. It's not going to blow your mind like, you know, something phenomenal, but I think the score is really, really nice. There's some uplifting songs or uplifting kind of music in some of it. Some of it's used well to build a little tension with the way the holes are playing out and all that kind of stuff. So fundamentally, I just think it does so many things well. The flaws, I think my biggest one is kind of what we talked about. I wish it went further into some of the storylines that it just kind of touched upon a little bit. And I could have done without the love interest storyline. But outside of that, I just, again, great story and a really good movie interpretation of it, even though not everything's super accurate, but close enough to get the point of what makes that true story so great. And like Stasis and myself, and I know Sandy did the book first before watching, but you know, the way it made Stasis want to look more into these to these actual people, the way it did that for myself when I first watched it. And I'm sure I would have done it for Sandy had you not read the book first, and probably does for a lot of people when they watch it. Getting you to look further into the truth and the history of things, I think is always a sign of a biopic or a based on a true story movie done well. Even if it's not super accurate, getting people more interested to finding out what might have been inaccurate or just to find out what the real story was and more details about it. I always think that's a job well done. So for me, all that said, I give it a very solid, strong 7, about as strong as one can have. I I can't go higher than that because I do think it's, there's just some things I wish it did a little bit better and some things I could have done without, but that's a really good score. And it's an incredibly loving 7. I don't think I've given out a loving 7 yet. It's a 7, and I absolutely love this movie and recommend it. So that's my long-winded
It's a
answer.
McLovin 7,
Nice.
everyone.
There you go. We can
Very
call it a
nice.
McLovin 7.
Sandy, do you want to go or shall
Very
I go?
well said, Jay. I
Thank you,
like
thank you.
that.
Yeah.
I really do like that. So first, just quickly, the book obviously goes into a lot more detail, and there are other characters in the book too that I want to learn more about. Particularly Jerry Travers, who's another golfer, and there were like 2 or 3 others that were really important golfers in the story, not just of the Open, but some of the tournaments leading up to the Open. So it has made me want to learn even more, and particularly about the writer Bernard Darwin, because if it weren't for not just golf, but other sports as well. If it weren't for the sports writers or the promotion, or, in terms of baseball, if it weren't for companies jumping in and sponsoring, weren't for the Wrigleys of the world, and, then we might not have the sports that we have today, because they were not profitable back then. There was no profit in these sports, and there was no television. So, um, someone who's writing about a sport and promoting it and then helping it to become what it is today is kind of interesting. So I definitely will look more in. I give the book a 7.5. It's so well written. It's exactly what I like. It's very concise and compact, but there's a lot of story there. And also, I don't know if I'm swayed sometime, but the reader on Audible, because it was an audiobook, I think I've read or listened to other books by him before, and he has a really great style. So 7.5 for the book. In terms of the historical accuracy of this film, for which I give a letter grade, I give it a C. And the C is um, because of what they added to the film, like Sarah and some other things that weren't there, but also for the things that they left out. And the the story of Harry Vardon is incredibly important. Now, this should have been a miniseries, because it left out, this was really focusing on Francis Ouimet. The book is about both of them, and the chapters, it goes back and forth. Harry's childhood, Francis's childhood, Harry in school, or young person, not in school, Francis in school, Harry working his first job, Francis's first job, people who helped Harry along the way, people who helped Francis. The book went back and forth, and even though there were different time periods because of the age difference, it was incredibly well done, and it helped you see that the things that the common challenges that they had and some of the different challenges that they had all shaped them in a different way. Harry was sickly. He was a sickly person. Then he ended up with tuberculosis and had a long time. His drive was fighting his own body for most of his career. First it was the breathing, the tuberculosis, then it was the tremor in his hand. So he was fighting against his own body. Francis's fight was in a sense, his family, his family not wanting him to go this path. I think it's such an important part of the history. I wish it had been in this film. The other parts of the book that I think maybe just a little reference to Harry's brother, Tom Vardon, was a very important part of Harry's story. Also, Harry was married. There's a wife. She's not here. Now, she did not travel with him, but
She was actually married. He was married and she wasn't even mentioned, but we got Sarah instead. That's crazy.
Exactly. So Harry is married and there's not even a mention, right?
It would have
Just
been good to send a telegram.
Yeah,
some
something.
mention
Good luck.
of, the wife back
Something.
home
Yeah.
with the kids and whatever. But Francis, I always wonder, like, when they do things like this and they throw in a love story, because these are real people, like, what do the grandkids think today? Like, his grandkids are alive today. What do they think about this mysterious Sarah? And
Where's the lucky charm? Where's my lucky charms?
Descendant in the future think he had this, this woman on the side or whatever. I don't know. But that was just bleh. The again, we've covered it. Like the finish was not the finish of the Open. Francis was up by 5 over Harry Vardon. He was up by 6 over Tom Ray. It was not the finish that they portrayed on the screen, but it had to be a Disneyfication. And that comes down to like my overall thought about this film. As much as I hate what I think the current Disney way is, with putting in messages and things that aren't relevant to a good story, I think the Disneyfication of this story is actually done quite well. And what they did was they took history that some people somewhere might think is a little boring or maybe not interesting to them because they're not into golf, or maybe, the era between, or the era, just pre-World War I is not interesting. But they made it into a good family film that, Jay, you've mentioned, you can't not watch it when you see it. You watch it multiple times. They succeeded there. And by bringing this story to families and making it accessible, I think they definitely succeeded there. I give the film, I give it a 6.5, which is a good score. I would definitely recommend it. I would have never watched it my own. So Jay, I do thank you for another. You have very few recommendations, but they're all okay. To mix the metaphors here, they're all home runs.
All right, I'll take it.
I again, whether it was No Country for Old Men or
I think I've
Whiplash,
given him some bad scores.
Yeah, but we don't count those.
They were quite good. One thing I do just want to kind of follow up on and tell you a little about where Francis Ouimet ended up. Francis Ouimet enlisted in the Army and did serve in World War I. He rose to the rank of lieutenant. Some of the other golfers that are mentioned in the book, like Jerry Travers and a few others, also served in the war. When he resumed golf, he played in a number of tournaments, always maintaining himself as an amateur. I don't understand, because today our view of amateur versus pro is flipped, and so my brain is not grasping why you would want to stay amateur. And they don't mention the Olympics, but maybe for James's knowledge and for others online, the United States was one of the last countries to allow professionals to play in the Olympics. You had to be amateur in order to represent the United States on any national stage. You could not be a professional. Maybe that was it as well. There were some, national stages maybe he wanted to represent the United States on. That whole thing has even bled into collegiate athletics today, and it's a whole crazy thing. But he came home, he continued to play, and we talked just a tiny bit about what we would call today product placement or sponsorships or promotion, because he had earned money kind of third hand by promoting some products for his business that he owned at the time. The United States Amateur Golf Association then stripped him of all of his titles. And that stood for many years. They were reinstated later in his life. But there was a whole controversy about the money he made playing golf. And this is why it's finally, I think it's finally being corrected with respect to collegiate athletics, because colleges and universities use the likenesses and images of athletes to benefit themselves. Others can make money off of your kid's photo, but those kids can't earn a dime. That's all changed now. I have a kid who's a NCAA athlete, and she made $62 last year because her college used her image in an advertisement. And so the kids have to be paid. College football and basketball players make tons more. But I think that has to do with it as well. But I was really shocked to know that he was stripped of his titles. It doesn't say he was a bad guy. It doesn't say he did anything bad. He just earned money for his business while playing golf. So that was quite surprising. But Jay, I'm really happy that you recommended this film. I enjoyed it, and I hope others do too.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. I must say that sentiment. I like this movie. It's like,
all right, I got him.
and
I got him on one.
that
I'll
there's
take
things
it. I'll
to
take it.
Take it. It's one of those. Now, is it Disney? You can feel the Disney treatment as you are going. You can like there's bits and you're like, oh god, they just Disney-fied it. Oh, there's certain bits like having that era. Was it 2005? Isn't it?
2005,
Yeah. This is
6 maybe.
Who should we make the baddie? How about the Brits? In every movie, it was every movie around this time period was, your baddie's got to be a Brit. So they tried to do that, and it didn't pull off because they didn't have a great storyline to it. But this movie, and I think like that, it's a family movie. It's just sit down, it puts a smile on your face, and it's enjoyable. It's a. We had a conversation afterwards. Is like, would you recommend it as a sports movie? And to be honest, there's better ones out there. I think there's things like that. But if somebody came to me and was like, there's a movie recommended, on Netflix or whatever, Disney Plus or blah, blah, would you? I'll be like, yeah, watch it. It's really good. It's actually, it's like, it's a heartwarming kind of things. There is a lot left there because as soon as you actually start to look about the characters, you're like, why is that not portrayed? Why is that? What who the hell is Sarah? It kind of it gets you to that level. It's like it makes you want it to be more. Is that Disney's fault? I don't think it is, because I think it's a 2-hour max. Like, you don't want a family movie to go like, we've got an epic 4-hour here. So it's not like. Now I understand why they did it, because I just looked it up. 2002 was the book, Sandy.
Oh,
2002. Yep.
And who won the US Open in 2002?
Imagine Tiger Woods.
Correct. So they probably went, bye. We need a golf.
Golf was it was getting so big at that point too with Tiger.
So they got a golfy movie. Now, I think they've done like Bill Paxton, and the cinematography. They did a good job making golf look exciting.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Really well, because the tensions, the different aspects. Sometimes we've said it, they overdid it just a little bit too much. They could have done it. I wouldn't be surprised if they had somebody who was, was on the US Open or something like some cameraman goes, how do you do the tracking shots and all that? It's just to get the angles right, because some of the angles it would be like you were watching it. There's certain bits when they're doing the pan in and pan out are completely things, but it feels like they had somebody who knew, we got to make it like if you were also watching. You're also watching it. So that's great. The beginning shot, this is based on a true story or whatever it is. This is loosely based, because you can, every bit that is separated from the real events, you don't even have to know. You can just feel that's a bit odd in the movie. It's a recommendation. I say, I really enjoyed it. I would, if it came on, I would watch it. I would watch it. Now, would I go and search it out? Probably not. And this is where I'm going to be falling things, because I think it's so missing so many bits, and it's like, it just for me. And I probably got not the nostalgia as Jace thinks. I'm going to give it a 6. And
I think that's pretty good.
But it's a warm 6. It's like I like that 6. It's not like
that's what I meant by the loving 7.
We have a loving 7
about
and
a warm 6.
So it's
I feel like mine should be a toasty 6.5.
Yeah,
you can change it. You can make it that.
Because it's not a movie that's ever going to go into the 9s. It's not supposed to be there. It's not. They could have made it really dramatic with
you could do a dramatic version of it and have it be like, holy crap. This is
you could take out different elements.
Disney
like you could take out 30 minutes of this movie and make it into a really, that's impactful. They just, it's a Disney movie. That's it. And that's unfortunately, they Disneyfied it to make it palatable to take everybody along, to the cinema. But then there's a missing points, because where they needed to have that tear jerkers,
it's almost like as you're watching it, you realize like, okay, this is a good Disneyfied story of this version of this story. But as you're watching it, you just start to kind of realize like, but crap, just a real dramatic version of it would be even better because there's such a good story here.
Yeah. Give me a Miramax version.
Right. Like it's just such a good story. They're like, damn, I could actually take a true dramatic version of this in a longer format, like you said, miniseries or whatever. And I'm curious because I like the way you guys, and I've said it myself, say kind of they got a little Disney here. Do you feel like that's, and I feel like I think this way, so I'm curious if you'd agree. I feel like we say it's Disneyfied, but in the sense of that time period of Disneyfied, which is still a good, palatable it's not today's Disneyfied.
No. Disney have
this was like a good version of it.
Set every 5 years they have something. Oh, that worked. You know, like I would like, you know, the sports movie that worked for Disney on this. You know, that uplifting, you know, underdog. What was it? What was the one you said?
A Miracle,
Titans.
or remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. Literally that format.
Right.
It works. We made money off it. It worked. Everybody loved it. And then they go, oh, you're doing another sports movie. You have to like this works. So can you do it again? And then I like, but it's a different story. And that's the problem with Disney.
I believe it was actually.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but that is a good one.
Yeah.
There's and to Stasis, to your point, and this is why last week when sports movie first came up for me, I was like, ooh, I know the one I want to pick because I already thought of it a few months ago. But then I was like, but there are better quality sports movies, even in the realm of dramatic ones. Like the one I was kind of teetering on, to be honest with you, was The Iron Claw, because it was something that I saw just recently, and it's a really, really, but it's dramatic, it's heavy, you leave that movie with a totally different feel than you do this movie.
Yeah, and when you look about the real life story, you're like, what the flipping
right? When you find out how truly based on a true story that movie is,
that movie makes it look like that movie. Oh, sorry, that movie. When I first watched it, and I was like, "That's fake. That can't happen." Can't
really be real, right?
And then you read out about it, you're like, "Oh my god, it was much worse."
Yeah, literally. I mean, literally, one of the brothers is left out of it entirely, and he, met a similar end, unfortunately. And that was one of like, because that's I think fundamentally and just quality of movie. Like I'm like that's a really good, well done movie. But it's just a different, it's a totally different kind of sports movie. We're talking an unfortunately horrific story versus just an uplifting underdog story.
You get like,
and that's just kind of for me. It's that sentiment that I have for this movie that made me have that one win out. But I think 6.5. I think that's probably about, if you were to remove my little bit of bias, nostalgia, and love for this movie, I'd probably maybe could see myself falling down, being a little harder on the critiques and falling to a 6.5. So I think that's honestly perfect range for this movie.
Yeah. Excellent.
Like Sandy said, a C. And by my if I were to change my number grades into letter grades, it'd be like, a 70 gets you a C. A 7 is also a C type of thing. So I think we're all in the same
but I think like it, I say like I've seen it on social, and I think it's missed. And I was like, I was saying it's a worth a watch. It's sit down, enjoy it, and it's just like it's there. It's a good little watch. That's it.
Not gonna blow your mind. It's not.
And it's not like you need to know about golf. You do not need to know a single thing about golf.
I do think that's part of why they Disneyfied it in the ways that they did, like changing the fact, the whole winning on 17th with the birdie and a comfortable lead, changing it to just, it's easier for people to understand. If you don't know the scoring method of golf, you're not going to really know. I even like how the mother at one point kind of probably represents a little bit of that for the audience, because the mother comes in towards like, what's going on?
Is that good?
He's down a stroke and he's just got a birdie. He's like, so is that good? Like, I like that a little bit because, the game of golf it's, I don't want to say it's complicated, but it's just so backwards inherently. It just in terms of scoring, like the lower score wins. That's not how sports.
You're not supposed to play backwards, Jade. That might be where you're going wrong.
Maybe that's why I'm shooting terrible lately. But that's the kind of like, it's just such an, it's not overly complicated once you get it. But like even me who's been playing, tell me how to calculate a handicap. And I'll be like, dude, that confuses the hell out of the slope and all these things. Like the more you learn and think like, oh, I got a base knowledge of golf, the more you start to get into the advanced knowledge of it. And it's like, Jesus, I don't know anything about
if I hit
sport.
It straight, I'm
right.
happy.
And like, so that's like if you can, and that I think is what Disney might have known.
Yeah.
That gets across well. Like if I hit it straight, if they're hitting the ball straight and they're nice shots that end up near the hole, anybody can tell that that's good. knowing you're down 3, he just birdied 2 holes, and that's what they're telling you. You're not going to really know exactly what that means if you're not a golf enthusiast. So I appreciate the way they were able to tell what's such a just interesting story from all 3 perspectives of those players in a easily digestible, palatable way that you can, like you said, you can watch with the family. And like Sandy said earlier, in a day where, sometimes you got to screen some of these movies you watch before you sit down with your family, this is one you can just pop on and feel totally comfortable watching.
I must say, like this though, like I can't remember any other, except for probably Tin Cup. I can't remember any other golf movies.
The Legend of Bagger Vance was another one.
Yes, yeah. That's Will Smith, isn't it?
Yep, and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
What was the one Chris Rock did? God, Chris Rock did one.
Oh my God, I can't remember that. But why don't they like do like?
I thought he did one, or maybe he just played golf in the movie.
They're kind, Why don't you just like the first Ryder Cup?
Yeah, but like
that'd be good. Yeah,
that's kind of what I wonder. Why isn't there more movies based? Because it's a super dramatic sport. You can, and if you do it well, like you said in this
is one of the multi-million. Like if you're a golfer and you're good, bloody hell, the money you pull in is like comparable to anything. Like they just rake it in. It's like
I tell my wife all the time, like if our son is a professional athlete in any sport, I hope he's either a left-handed relief pitcher or a golfer, because talk about not taxing jobs that'll pay you millions. Oh my goodness.
I know he's only got to come in for like 3 pitches. If
you come in for 3 pitches as a specialist, you'll get paid millions. It's ridiculous. But MLB can never run out of the need for left-handed relief pitchers.
That's good, yeah. But also, if you're the parent, you don't want to do baseball. I say that. You kind of want to do golf or cricket, because then you go and see the world with them.
Oh yeah, hey, fair enough. Fair enough there.
Yeah, no, that's like,
fair enough there. No, I think I could settle for not seeing the world if my kid was like the starting pitcher for the Red Sox. I think I could settle for just seeing. Okay. I could settle for that. But if he got stuck on the Yankees, go play cricket. Let's go do that instead.
Oh my God, that's it! Like he's got signed by the Yankees.
Pack it up.
His first why?
That's gotta be such a weird thing for parents, or even just the kids. Because like, if I was a kid who grew up playing baseball, all I would ever want would to be a Red Sox. End up getting drafted by the Yankees. Well, Paul Pierce, Celtic,
John Elway,
Celtic,
right?
Yeah, right. Another
John
one.
Elway didn't want to come to. He was drafted by the Baltimore Colts. Didn't want to come to Baltimore, held out. Denver took, like, when you say, because you really aren't supposed to, you're supposed to go where you're drafted, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. He just had such a public hissy fit about Baltimore. And then
why? Just because
it's Baltimore. Because it's not as flashy.
Well, Eli Manning did a similar thing with the San Diego Chargers. That's how he ended up in New York. He threatened hold out, and he ended up getting drafted by New York.
Stamp your feet like a 2-year-old and say, "I'm good."
But I just, I couldn't imagine being drafted like Paul Pierce, a very famous Celtic. He grew up a Lakers fan. Grew up in LA, a Lakers fan. Like, imagine you just you get your ultimate dream, but God just plays, or the universe plays one more trick on you, and you're drafted. You got your dream, but it's to the team you've hated your entire life. you gotta love the irony. But
those days were
works
great,
out.
The Celtics, Lakers, and I know you weren't born yet, Jay. So don't.
I got my little slice of it.
Don't
I got
even
my
need
slice
to say
of it in 08.
But when I was little, it was Celtic Lakers, and it was fantastic to watch.
Oh God, the rivalry was just
amazing.
And even we got a piece of it in the 08 finals. We beat the Lakers when they had Kobe, and then in 2010, the Lakers beat us. So I got a piece of it from both sides. So I can say I got my share of the Lakers Celtics rivalry, both good and bad, just not the prime of it.
I don't know how. Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt it. How did Daryl get Madonna?
Because somebody
every time.
Can you imagine if someone else made this movie and someone said something and I said, "How about Guy Ritchie?" And then Daryl comes in with Madonna when I said Guy Ritchie.
There we go. Like, yes,
fair enough.
He's like, got it in. Like, I bet there's other streams. He's like, if I can do it, I'm doing it.
Degrees of Madonna from Daryl.
Wait a minute, isn't Daryl a big Madonna fan? Didn't we have them during
I've heard
League of Their Own? That's right.
Yeah, we've heard rumors. The one and only Madonna movie on there. That's it. great.
But Evita is not on the wheel, so sorry,
Oh,
Daryl.
it could be on though. Worst pick, is it?
No, yeah.
I don't know. Did I put musicals? I can't remember if I put musicals. It might have to be.
I don't even think I know enough musicals.
I don't
to
think you
pick a
did. I think you
musical.
wanted to avoid it altogether.
Yeah.
If
There
I
would
had to do
only be-
musical,
yeah.
I'd have to pick Grease. Is musical?
Yeah.
Is that a pick? For
I
us?
would
Your
do it
favorite
as well.
musical? That's it.
Yeah.
I'd have to do
No,
Grease.
pick
One,
Grease.
I haven't watched many. Two, I
maybe
genuinely do like Grease.
Oh no, probably Rocky Horror Show. Maybe.
Never seen it.
Could have done.
Yeah, never been
Yeah.
super interested in musicals.
I
That
know
would
which one
be-
I
yeah.
would do, but you all would hate it.
Oh, go on.
Would you?
Yes, it's not on
what-
there.
It's
I'm
not the
curious.
Sound of Music. It's not-
Whoever that, they get banned. You get banned. If anybody picks that.
I do like West Side Story. I know you all hate it. I love.
You know,
West
I've heard a few songs from it, and it's catchy. I don't know enough.
I like the
about it.
cinematography. I like the whole vibe of it.
Was that
The acting is terrible. The acting is horrifically bad.
Is that the most recent one, or was there a different one?
No, the
I was gonna say, is there an
original. The
original?
original,
I don't
It's
know
the,
much.
the
I
I
one
know it was a
with
play, I thought.
Spielberg, wasn't it? Was that the
Spielberg did, and Rachel Zegler, I believe.
what's
of
her
all
and they
face,
did.
yeah.
Everybody was like, "You didn't put subtitles in for the Spanish, the
Hey, I remember
South American
some
Spanish,"
kickback
and
or
everybody was
something
like,
on that.
"That's not the real. Like, it's not Spanish. It's like a.
It's Puerto
slightly different."
Rican. It's supposed
Yeah,
to
so
be Puerto Rico.
Gosh, I
and-
know
Yeah.
nothing about
No,
it.
yeah, but
Anyway,
don't put
based
subtitles
on
in.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
So the wording is actually important because it's based on Shakespeare. So you have to understand the words. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
maybe.
nobody ever does. So it's like trying to be
Yeah.
clever.
Do
Yeah.
you guys
Be clever.
consider like Disney movies that had music in them to be musicals, like Lion King, Tarzan, like anything where
Well,
like the
animated-
characters break
animated,
off
isn't it?
into singing? Do we count those as musicals? Animated
I
musicals?
would say a musical, the story is carried by the song, not the other way around.
so.
not the-
Like, would a
So-
Lion King count in that, or it's just that's just
No.
added to the story?
yeah, because
Yeah.
the story is carried by the
Okay,
characters.
fair enough.
But like the Sound of
Curious on
Music, it's definitely carried by the song. Les Miserables, those kinds of.
Okay, fair enough.
Wizard of Oz
Yeah.
is probably on the borderline.
Teeters on
because
it a bit,
people call
Yeah.
Yeah, people call it a musical, but there aren't that many songs in the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
compared to
that's
some other
true.
ones.
Yeah, then I guess all I could pick is honestly really
But
Grease.
Grease,
I don't- I
yeah,
don't think-
Grease is
I don't
one.
think I could pick anything
Yeah.
else. I don't think I've seen anything else.
No.
I do like Grease though. As I'm actually my mouse is actually hovered over it on the background. Go figure. I didn't realize that.
There we go.
There
I
it
do.
is.
Bottom right side.
It's nice. It's an easy. It's one of them easy watches.
That's actually that was always one of my mom's favorite movies. So as a kid growing up, it was always, I think she still has the VHS like readily available somewhere in the house. It was always.
And
her
then you
favorite.
watch Grease 2 and you're like, what? Is
I
that?
never did.
Oh my
I
god,
never
it was
did. I
so
remember it was
horrible.
coming
It
out
is
and
great.
there was a little
Some
bit
of
of
the things.
hype. Like,
What is it?
gotta watch
Oh,
it.
what is it? The sex song.
Where does the
Nah,
pollen go?
Not
Yeah, it's like that,
God,
and
they do
then-
that.
Yeah.
For all seasons, and it was it called? Oh, there's a for all seasons. I can't remember. Oh,
I
my
think
God,
I only
it's
saw it once, and
brilliant.
it was just
When yeah,
god awful.
but the worst thing is awful. But when you watch it now, it's laughable, awful, and you
Cheesy.
just like yeah, it just goes into cheese mode, and they blatantly didn't want it to be cheesy, and it's just great. So
I'll be
But-
honest. I watched Grease 1 or a little bit of it within the last year.
watch it.
Because it was on TV and my wife was like, "Oh, Grease." I'm like, "Oh, I just told her the same story I told you." I'm like, "Oh, my mother used to love this movie. I love that." Blah 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 blah. I don't find it that cheesy. I still enjoy watching it.
No,
again,
no,
it's
Grease
nostalgia
1 is
for me, but I
not.
still enjoy
Grease
it.
2 is terrible.
Two,
yeah.
I've never ever seen, and
Yeah,
I
two-
probably never
two's
will.
just
But
really
Grease
bad.
1,
They just
I
go
do
like,
still enjoy
oh,
it.
that but do bikers, just do instead of cars, bikes. It's like
Yeah,
what? And then, yeah. Michelle Pfeiffer's worst
wait.
ever role.
Oh,
Was
God,
that
was
movie?
Michelle
Do you remember
Pfeiffer.
the movie Cry Baby with Johnny Depp? Was that a
Yeah,
musical?
John Waters.
Yeah.
Wasn't that kind of a? I thought that was
Yeah,
a musical. Was it
kinda.
not?
It's
Did it
a
have
John-
music
like-
in it?
Yeah.
It's like Hairspray. John Waters.
Yeah.
It's a Baltimore. So that's a Baltimore thing.
Baltimore.
Crybaby, Polyester, Pink Flamingos, Hairspray. It's all John Waters thing. So yeah, Hairspray I'd say is definitely musical, and I like Hairspray. I do.
No Mamma Mia fans? No.
No.
You do not put ABBA.
The face Stasis just made as soon as that came up.
ABBA.
That was the
I will
most
We was-
serious
we
I've
was
ever
eating a
seen
meal.
in my life.
Movie.
Like the greatest thing. That's like you're proud of your kid. We was eating went to this like Italian restaurant. They put ABBA on. to play Swedish like that or whatever. And I was like, oh my god. And then, like, Jay just looked at each other. I was like, oh. And then like he looked like suddenly he was like, and then the song finished. He went, that song wasn't very good, was it? We were like, yes. Like, hi. I was like, good on you. And but he's just like that mindful disgust from a 4-year-old is like, that song wasn't good, was it? No, it wasn't.
Oh, Space Nut. That's a good one. Nightmare Before Christmas. I always forget.
See, but does that count? Like, that's what I'm
yes,
always.
It would do, yeah.
I guess I got to figure out how to
because it's like a
determine.
lot of singing in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
What's this?
Anyway,
Yeah,
now
that's a
you
good
can
one.
should we go the wheel?
Yeah, sorry, wheel.
Let's
We're
go
on
to
a
the
musical
wheel. Let's go
tangent.
to the wheel. Now, guys, I'm gonna let you down, chat. Really, really band-aid, rip it off. There's no film club next week. Dum dum dum.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's news to me as well. I was not
Is
paying
it?
attention
No,
to the Discord chat. I don't think. Sorry,
okay.
guys.
There we go.
I've been
Yeah,
sitting here
so
by myself waiting.
I'm not where I am. So yeah, I'm visiting people around the Great Isle.
Oh, that's right. You
Of
did
Britain.
that.
So yeah, so I will not have internet access because also I've got to go near Norwich, Norfolk, and they definitely won't have internet there. They have 6 fingers, most of them, and their wife is their cousin. It's one of their it's really bad. But I will be visiting my old RAF base at one
Oh,
point.
nice, cool.
Because now it's a museum, so we're going to take that and
Live
see.
stream. You should do a live stream.
You can't. It's a nuclear bunker. They're not going to have a signal.
Yeah. You might have an issue
Like,
there. Just get a hotspot. You'll be fine.
The big metal doors might get in the way like that. Oh my god. Yeah. So we do. Got to go that, but we've got to go south coast and then over there. So we're doing a whole.
Nice.
Probably like a whole week of visiting people, family, friends. So we're doing that. Nice. So unfortunately, no Doctor Strangelove. It will be moved on to the week after. So we do that, and I think it's normal Saturday, unless trips up. But yeah, we got Stanley Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove, what Jay's not seen.
Nope.
So that'll be interesting because it's very quirky, very black and white. Shouldn't be black and white. Yeah, it's quite it's funny. So that we got a little bit of a comedy one. Dark comedy. Yeah, we go. So, yeah. But for this one, so let's do this. As always, it's got to be. I said it. It's got to be Apollo 13. It has to be.
That would be nice.
Listen. Or Jay's worst pick, or Sandy's gonna Titanic for my height.
Get ready for the iceberg, chat.
Yeah.
But let's do it. Shuffle type. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it. Oh, mash up top. Ooh, nice. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh, Jay's crime film. I didn't know we had that as a option. That's a good one.
Ooh, I think it's Jay's. It's Jay's.
No, sorry. Jay's animated film.
I saw Jay.
I think I know what it's going to be.
Oh, I don't know. He's already got
Is it on the wheel or is it not on the wheel?
No, it's not on the wheel.
No, sorry. But is it going to be what somebody said? Was it the Firefly thing? Graves and Firefly?
Oh, God, no. Hanayamas, no.
Sorry, Hannah.
This is interesting. Oh, two in a row, Jay.
Now, I know this is huge.
Well,
do I go with the one I already picked? So I made a small list, and I had one squared away for this. And it's one I wanted to watch myself for a while.
Oh.
However, there's a recent one.
Oh.
No.
Recent?
No, it doesn't.
Give.
So I'll tell you what's going through my mind. The recent one that's kind of creeping in, but I feel like it's a little recency bias, is I almost kind of want to make you guys watch K-pop Demon Hunters because I loved it so much on Netflix. But it's almost too recent that I don't want to. I think I'm going to go with my original pick that I wrote down for this. We are going to watch A Bug's Life.
Hold it.
Bug's Life. I already skipped.
Oh, not Tarzan.
Nope, not Tarzan. Okay. I'll let the wheel decide that one.
Bug's Life.
I wanted to bring in one. Now, this one comes about because a couple months ago when we started these, again, flicking through the channels on TV, one of the random times I saw Bug's Life was on. I'm like, I used to love this movie. Haven't watched it in ages. Watched a good half hour of. Yep, Pixar. Watched a good half hour of it and stopped because I was immediately like, this is going to be my animated film. I'm going to stop it now so I can watch it fresh for film club. So A
Nice.
Bug's Life, that'll be the one.
It's quite funny because my kid just watched Ants.
That's
Oh
a
yeah,
good
yeah.
one, too.
That came out right around the same time.
Yeah, they did both at the same time, didn't they?
Yep,
Roughly, yeah.
yep.
So Bug's Life. Oh, what's it? The butterfly. I'm a beautiful. Is it that
Yeah,
one?
yes, the caterpillar. That yes,
butterfly.
exactly. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. I love that movie. Loved it as a kid. There was a great PlayStation 1 movie
When was
tie-in
that
game
released?
for it. I loved
When
that
was
as well.
Released?
I want to say
know that.
2000, maybe 2001
Is it
or
another
2.
2000?
It was early on in the 2000s. I'd be
It
shocked.
was
if it was
I didn't- that is-
1998.
Oh, really?
1998, was it?
That's even
1998,
earlier than I
A
thought it was.
Bug's
Wow.
Life.
Oh yeah, the Bugs. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm just making
I,
sure.
I
feel
love that
comfortable.
because even though we're doing a movie, you have to do the outtakes at the end.
Oh yes, and they do the
Really
animated
funny.
outfit. Yes, I love that as well. Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember that. Oh, that should
Yep,
be
Oh my
they
God,
do
there's
all
really funny
animated
bits
outtakes.
outtakes.
They're actually funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
really
feel
funny.
forced. They're actually funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I feel comfortable with that choice. That's what I'm going to go
Okay.
with. That's
Bugs
the
Life.
classic.
Bugs
A
Life.
Bug's Life.
My God. There
Yep.
we go.
Yeah, you can sit down with the kiddo and watch that one. So that's a good one.
Yeah, we all do. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm 100% sure he hasn't watched it. So yeah,
perfect.
Perfect. There we go.
All right,
Cool.
I'm starting to
You know,
catch up
you
with
got-
the
you
movie
get
picks here.
you get the family friendly picks, don't you?
Yeah, 2 in a row. 2 in a row.
There you go.
You stuck us with Twilight. I'm still feeling the pain from that one.
Feeling the pain. You could have done something
We need
really
a-
bad.
We need a
than
few
that.
more palate cleanses here, I guess.
There we go. Oh, excellent. So yeah, so there we go. So Doctor Strangelove in Bug's Life.
So
Why
you want to
not
know
have
what's
that
you want to
follow?
know what's funny? Hold on. Let me just, if you have a moment here, I'm going to open up the
Okay.
file. I'm like 99% positive that the file where I had it's not like a big file, it's an Excel sheet I was putting together just so that when the time came, I would have my movie choices ready. Do I still have it? Okay, so the only ones I have on there is 4 movies. 2 of them were A Bug's Life and The Greatest Game Ever Played. So thank you to the wheel for picking the ones that I had already decided.
in new.
So do you want to hear the tie-in to what we were talking about earlier? 1998. Titanic year.
Oh, yeah, we were close.
So,
we
same
almost ended up
year.
on Titanic.
I'm
is there
so
any
grateful.
voice actors in we didn't cross over
Bug's Life, I think.
So the
has
voice
a few
actors
good
are. I know
actors in
David
it.
Hyde Pierce is in it because I love him and everything. But who else is in it? I don't know who else. Let's see. Voice actors: Dave Foley, Kevin Spacey, Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
Okay.
John Ratzenberger from Cheers, David Hyde Pierce, Roddy McDowell. My God, was he still? I mean, is he still? That sounds terrible.
Who plays Flick? Is it?
Flick is Dave Foley.
Okay, because Kevin Spacey was Hopper. Okay, that makes sense. Kevin Spacey was Hopper. Flick was Dave Foley. Okay. Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I did not realize that was her, actually. I don't think I knew her well enough as a kid. Richard Kind, yeah. Oh, Hayden Panettiere was Dot. No kidding. Dennis Leary. Wow, there's actually a lot of Brad
It's a
Garrett.
lot, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. There's a lot of names that I did not realize were in this. Interesting.
Madeline Kahn, Jonathan Harris. I mean, yeah, Jonathan Harris, as in British actor Jonathan Harris. Wow,
British actor.
Bonnie Hunt, huh? No kidding.
he's not a bad
Interesting.
guy either.
That's one of the things. A lot of these movies I watched as a kid, I never went back to look who voiced them. So this is one I probably haven't watched since the early 2000s. So it's always interesting to me to see who did the voice work. Like I would have never thought in a million years Kevin Spacey was Hopper, and that's completely news to me. The only voice I did recognize was one of them is also, I believe, the pig in Toy Story, and I recognize the voice, but now can't remember who the actor was. It was the one who plays.
That's Cheers, isn't it? The guy from Cheers. No.
David Ratzenberger. I mean, John Ratzenberger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh yes, P.T. Flea. He plays the flea who runs the circus. Yep, yep. That was Ham from Toy Story. That was the only one as a kid I could ever pick out.
Oh, great!
Yeah, that'd be a fun one.
Yeah, that would be. That's a very, very light-hearted, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
liked it because we all went, "Ooh!"
Yeah.
Yes.
I love hearing that reaction too.
Oh, a
We all remember
beautiful
when we liked
butterfly.
it.
I'm gonna
If I
make you say
recall,
that.
too, it's a
And
pretty
it's not a
good
book.
story.
It's not a
It's
book.
not a book. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there you go. We got time off.
There
You
we
can
go.
read my book instead, Sandy. I'll let you do it.
So we are going to have to talk about then, but it is like Star Wars. I don't know. Were there toys after A Bug's Life?
Ooh.
So there was
I don't remember. They got to be
toy.
worth
I'm
a lot of
sure
money.
there was a toy set that went
Yeah.
We'll
along
have
with
to
it.
look that up.
The more memorable thing, at least for me, and I'm not sure if this kind of resonates more with gamers of that time, because
Yes,
this was
no
the
video
era
games.
of movie tie-in games.
Oh,
Every movie that came out had a movie tie-in, and most of them are crap, but they were related to the movie. It's extra marketing for the movie at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But A Bug's Life had a fantastic PS1, PlayStation 1 movie tie-in game,
nice.
which I recently actually bought like a year or two ago, and I have
We will need
downstairs
a
because I've been
review
trying
on
to.
that, Jay.
I should
do-
fire up some of those and do
Does
something with them.
does Bugs Life have a sequel? Because it I mean,
Nope.
like straight to TV, like kind of thing. You know, like
Nope,
Aladdin
nothing
or
even
like-
like like Aladdin 2
Yeah.
or Tarzan 2 even. Nope, I believe
Yeah.
it was just a one-off. This was our
Huh.
movie, and this is it.
Yeah, interesting.
Which all the
Interesting.
better
Have to see
for
the
it
numbers
because it
then.
hasn't
Have to
been
see the numbers.
it hasn't been watered down with some of those straight to TV,
Mm.
second sequels and things like that.
Oh, Heavy Metal. Well, that would be a good one. Just saw that, Daryl. That's a good animated. You seen that? You too?
No,
Andy.
No, I
don't
heard
think
of it.
so.
I'd never seen
It's
it.
very bizarre. It's not nothing to do with heavy metal. Let's just say that.
Oh,
It's,
okay,
yeah,
fair
it's
enough.
it's
Yeah,
not
no, I can't
anything
say
like
that I've
it's
seen that one.
very. It's bizarre, but very interesting. Bizarre, if that makes sense. You're like, huh. It's like separate stories within a whole movie. It's very good. Very, very, very good. Well animated. It's very good. But yeah. Anyway, guys, you got anything to add? Anything to add?
No, nothing in
Didn't need to
particular.
report.
A little slow on the
No.
channel this week because a little busy with
Yeah.
real life. But as always, keep an eye out. Nerd Take stuff will be popping up here and there.
That's what happened to me. Real life took over. Very, very.
Yeah, it has a way of
busy
doing
and
that.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I've got plans, and then the plans thing. But I'm also been redesigning my logo and intro and outro. For
Oh,
Stacey
nice.
Geek.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
So I've got all that things like that's all in kicking out. So that might probably in a week maybe we'll have a new logo and everything like that. Just need to ramp it up. I've not done it since the channel launched, so I need to just give it a bit of polishing. That's it. But the real YouTuber here, Sandy, what you got going on?
Over 1,000 photos and like hours and hours and hours of video to edit into something at some point. And I'm not going anywhere. I didn't go anywhere today. I was out for way too long yesterday. Thanks to everyone who dropped by for the 5 mini streams I did yesterday. Yes, Jay, I did 5 because I went to 5
Wow.
small towns yesterday. And from every little small town, I did a little walk on the main street.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's kind of my end of summer big event. But now I have to do I have to get some real videos up there. So I'll be editing and cataloging for many days to come. And unfortunately, yeah, work got in my way last week too. And it will be in this week as well. So it's a busy time, but I hope everyone finds a moment or two to enjoy the last few days of the summer. If you're here in the Northern Hemisphere, summer's kind of winding down. Kids are heading back to school, thank goodness. And it's always a relief. Love them to death, but it's always a relief when they're back to a routine. It's a good thing. But yeah, and I have a book to read. It's called Red Alert. So that's the book that partially inspired Dr. Strangelove. So I'm going to grab that. And now that I have 2 weeks, that'll give me a little break. That'll be good.
Excellent. That's great. Yeah. So yeah, as always, sub to these guys. Sandy doesn't need subs. She's going wild at the moment.
I'll tell you, live streams. So people from around the world. Just I'm honored and shocked and surprised every day. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but it's a lot of fun.
That's it. But yeah, I might do what Daryl said. He did say like you can do like a road trip. Like maybe.
I think
maybe
you should.
I'll do,
That'd be
like,
cool.
I'd maybe have to do that. Yeah, I have to see like that. So we're gonna go to a beach. So maybe I'll do
People,
that.
I'll tell you, man. People, as Sandy's seen, people love the IRL streaming.
Yeah,
it's a hit. Absolutely.
that's it. But we'll see. But it's worth thing.
Any
You got to
movie filming
keep your
sites
eye,
along the-
talk, and look at a 4-year-old at the same time.
Yeah.
Well,
fair
yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
He's running. Like that, just like me chasing the 4-year-old. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, it's all good. But yeah, guys, I really that little Sunday schedule special.
Little
there
Sunday
was
golf.
great.
It all worked out perfect.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But everybody, hope you go. If you're going golf, go well. You can't do as bad as Jay.
Yeah. Yesterday, you probably can't. You'd have to try to do worse. It was a tough one.
There you go. But everybody, have a great rest of the week. And that is leaving us very, very soon, especially in the UK. You've only got 20 minutes of it. Then you've got to think about Monday morning, unfortunately. But everybody else, have a great, great rest of the day. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Sorry. But for now, bye-bye.